Ugh. Whoops. You already know we gotta hop back on the crime dogs. You already know. I just picked a completely random one today. Let's see. I need to turn my oven off. Just realized that. Let me get the link. Hold on. What is this doing? All right. Let me turn my oven off real quick. All right. I don't know if anybody's here yet, but I might go ahead and start it because I'm eating some food. I need something to watch. All right. Today we got When a Crazy Girlfriend Finally Snaps. We're about to learn about some crazy women today.
You're possessed. Just the way you act, you know? And he agreed. Like, yeah, I do feel like I have two horns coming out. I feel like I have the devil in me. And he, you know, it's like he was growing, like, doing, and his face got red.
It's the kind of girls you stay away from, chat.
In the early hours of June 9th, 2013, dispatchers received a chilling and nearly incomprehensible 911 call.
Well, you need medical, police, or fire.
Please, I need help.
Okay, ma'am. Hello?
Give it up. About.
Okay, you're going to have to stop crying or calm down so I can understand what you're saying.
This one's an hour and 30 minutes.
I'm not. Please, I'm really mad.
And what did your boyfriend do?
I started talking with him. Just trying to. He started beating me hard. You know.
Is he there now?
Yeah, but he's out. I don't know. Listen, he's about to die. He's not breathing. He says, I need you here right now. And
I'm trying to get someone out to you, ma'am. Are there any weapons involved?
No, man.
Okay.
It's just me and him. He just drinks a lot. He just attacked me. And he's about to die. I've been visiting him, and I couldn't find the phone, so somebody called me.
Okay, so is he beating you up, or is he about to die?
Yeah, he's...
I like that question. So is he beating you up, or is he about to die?
The following never-before-seen footage has been analyzed by a qualified team, including a licensed attorney and former criminal prosecutor, a licensed clinical psychologist, and a former licensed professional counselor. The Park Lane is a high-rise set of luxury apartments located in Houston, Texas. As officers arrived on the scene, they could hear the sound of a woman weeping within apartment 18B. At their knock, the door opened to reveal 44-year-old Anna Trujillo. As the doorway's foyer faced a wall, the officer didn't have an immediate view of what lay inside. However, upon entering, he was greeted by an unforgettable scene. Ahead of him, beyond a set of luggage and suitcases, was an adjoining hallway. Lying in that hallway was the body of a man. The carpet by his head saturated a deep crimson. He didn't appear to be breathing. Cuts, bruises, and other abrasions were evident on his neck, torso, and arms. Yet the most...
Hey, we got Jack. We got At Me. How you guys doing? It's the start of it, really. Apparently, it's about a crazy girlfriend. Oh, you got some popcorn for this? Better lock it in, because this is about to be a good one. Basically, a crazy girl called 911, just like, he beat me. Something like that. I don't know if she's telling the truth or not. Jack, how's your vacation? Are you still on vacation or what? I made a little bit of food. I got some corn, some mashed potatoes, and some chicken tenders.
unusual detail may have been...
So, like, you guy? Okay. Okay. Did you riz him up? Did you use that riz that we've been practicing on stream? You know what I'm saying?
The single size 9 blue suede stiletto left shoe resting near his head, adorned with blood and strands of sandy hair.
Didn't hit up though, for real. Jack, we gotta do better than that. We're shooters around here. Gotta shoot your shot.
The body matched the description on the man's identification card, revealing that he was 59-year-old Alf Stephen Anderson,
Alf
a
Stephen,
highly skilled research professor.
You got that sunburn
in
wrist? It's not a gun flex, but oh, you can't even see it. It's not even bad anymore. Wait. Oh, you can see the line though. See the line? This was complete sunburn. Something about that sunburn wrist just hits different, you know what I'm saying? It's kind of going away now. It's starting to peel though. It's starting to peel a little bit. Yeah, I absolutely got toasted. You take a bite of these chicken tenders? I got you. All right, so let's get going into this. I'm probably gonna watch this and then maybe like another hour video or something. We're looking at like a 3-hour stream, 2.5.
At the University of Houston Center
not
for Nuclear
too big, but
and
I did have a long day at work. Not that long though. It's kind of busy though.
Cell signaling. When asked what had happened, Anna seemed dazed, but finally told officers, "He was holding me and wouldn't let go." She claimed they had been arguing, but how had a simple argument reached such a fatal conclusion?
Happens, man.
Investigators knew
Happens
there
to the
must
best
be
of us.
more to the story. The responding officers had Anna sit against the wall out of the way as they began to survey the scene. What they discovered there tips the scales of the bizarre, setting this case apart from others while sparking a media sensation.
Jeremy, look, everybody's back in the stream. You guys are awesome. Jeremy, how you doing, man? There's not much to catch up on this so far. Basically, you just gotta... All we've had is a 911 call, girl freaking out, saying she got beat. They show up to the scene, the guy's dead. That's about it.
The officers discovered a collage, presumably an homage to the professor from friends and colleagues upon the occasion of his birthday. Ironically, for reasons you'll find out later, near the center of the frame is a page that reads "shoe fetish," with an arrow pointing to a picture of a woman's shoe. Other cutouts of women's shoes are prominent, many featuring stiletto heels. In the hallway, within the general area of the body.
Oh, dude, you want me to... I'll give you some motivation while you're working out, dude. I got you. Don't even worry about it. What you working out today? You going... Tomorrow, I think I'm going to do some arms.
A men's pair of shoes had been placed against the wall, and next to them was the stiletto's clean twin. Moving to the living room, detectives found a new set of mysteries. On the floor in front of the sofa was a wad of hair, seemingly a match to Stefan. 2 additional clumps rested upon the couch itself. On one end of the sofa was Anna's purse. Within it was an ominous omen. A tarot card book, open to the page describing the card representing death.
That's not suspicious.
Stuck to the corner of the book was a sugar packet, possibly corresponding to the white granules sprinkled across the glass coffee table, which was littered with a set of mysterious handwritten notes, one of which was signed Anna. One note reads, "May the shield of truth protect you. May the sword of justice judge. Let the pen be mightier than the sword." Another says, "I ask for you and your spirit and soul to be at peace, your mind calm, your heart pure strength." Detectives cuffed Anna and led her outside to photograph her to create a visual account of evidence, such as her clothing, bloodstains, and any injuries she may have sustained.
Dude, that did look like a pretty old sugar packet. I ain't gonna lie.
While she exhibited bruising in places, she didn't complain of any pain or injuries except for her knee. But as this was under her clothing,
what do you guys think? This self-defense?
Investigators could do to explore this issue at that time. When
maybe
this
it's a
process
bait.
was complete, they loaded Anna into a police cruiser and set off for the station.
Excuse me.
Detectives had a lot of questions that needed answers. Was this a case of self-defense or cold-blooded murder?
What do you guys think? I'm gonna take.
She was the
only
option
B.
able to provide a first-hand account of the events. They knew that Anna's dazed mind held the knowledge that would prove key to understanding the tragic death of Stefan Anderson. However, they were rendered speechless by the wild and twisted narrative of Anna Trujillo, aka Anna Fox.
Anna Fox.
This is 44-year-old Anna Trujillo, recognized by locals as the host of her own community access television show, and now as a suspect in the death of Stefan Anderson. As she awaits the detectives, she sits in a slouched position with her head down, hands resting between her legs in a protective gesture.
This looks kind of
She
demonic.
begins to move her legs, which is a release for nervous energy.
Here you go ahead.
Dude, I do that all the time though, like the leg movement and stuff. But maybe that's because I'm nervous. Probably is.
Anna barely looks up at the sergeant. This is unusual behavior as most people make eye contact with people as they enter a room. The sergeant leaves for a short time, returning with Detective Evans to start the interrogation.
All right, Anna. Remember me? I'm Brian Evans with HP on the side.
The detectives have Anna's chair facing away from the table, so there are no barriers to prevent them from observing her entire body.
That's creepy.
Nonverbal
Why are they doing that?
communication can be very useful.
Why are they
and the
checking her
absence
out?
of
That's
any
weird.
barriers has the benefit of making a suspect feel exposed and ill at ease. The atmosphere is stark, with no distractions, to enhance the feeling of an unwelcome environment. The goal is to make the suspect feel uneasy, as it makes them dependent on comforting factors only the interrogator can provide them, such as food, water, cigarettes, and compliments. The interrogator wants as much leverage over the suspect as possible.
What we wanted to do was meet with you in hopes of getting your side of what happened last night there. And we need to try to, for our understanding, if you could and would, explain your relationship to Stefan.
Detective Evans leans forward to meet her at her level. This may be an attempt to appear less intimidating. He asks about her relationship with Stefan to get her talking, but also to establish a baseline for her speech, cadence, tone, body language, and mannerisms.
Stefan sounds like
so
a
they
dude
have
with a shoe-
basis for
with a shoe
comparison when
fetish.
they reach more sensitive topics.
We went out and he really liked me, and
Okay.
from the beginning he was very nice, and
Okay.
he said he liked me, and we started seeing each other.
Okay.
He asked me to move in, and he asked me to marry him.
That's
In
quick.
a short span, she has repeated, "He really liked me," twice. It may be important for Anna to make it known that she's well liked, indicating that she enjoys being the center of attention and may exhibit narcissistic traits. On the other hand, Anna may want to make it known that Stefan really liked her in order to make herself appear innocent, as she's trying to make it sound like there were no issues or hostility between them.
He wanted to marry me, and I said, I think that we should live together first. So he agreed, and so he asked me to move in with him, and I did.
Guys, do you think you should get married? What do you guys think about it? Do you guys think you should move in before you get married? I think you should. I think you have to. I just feel like there's no way you can marry somebody without knowing what it's like living with them. Right? Who agrees?
And ever since then, I've been staying with him.
If this is true, it had to be a recent development, as the Park Lane apartment registry only listed Anna as a guest for June 8th and 9th. What this means is that they likely only recently moved in together, or hadn't been living together long, which is why she was still only listed as a guest. This detail could cast some doubt on Anna's claims about
How
the
long were they living
seriousness
together?
of their relationship. For the next 30 minutes, Anna talks nonstop about a whole series of relationships in which she paints herself as a hard-working, blindsided victim who eventually decides to escape the abuse before going into a new relationship and beginning the cycle anew.
He pushed me, he hit me against the wall, and I cried. I begged him. I tried everything. And he took me, and he slammed me. I met my boyfriend, and then so he knew the story and everything, and he said he would take care of me. Then he became physical because I wanted to leave, and he,
You guys think she's telling the truth?
You know, what can
I mean, she sounds pretty honest so far. I don't see anything pointing out that like makes her sound not honest.
I do?
She portrays herself quite positively while depicting her partners as being flawed.
I did it all. I was a wife, I had a career, I took care of my girls, I cleaned the house, I cooked, I did everything.
W mom.
It just seems like it just wasn't enough.
Incessant talking could be an indicator of personality disorder, or a deliberate attempt to stall detectives from questions about why she's really here. None of this information is relevant to Stefan's death, and it seems Anna has a hard time staying on topic. Nonetheless, this information could help investigators determine whether these men are abusing her.
1 second. All right.
Or whether she follows a pattern of asserting potentially false accusations.
It
Oh
finally
my God.
clicked in my head when he held me and he made love to me and I didn't want to, and he's like, "You're mine. You're everything. You belong to me." And I said, "Yes, of course." And it's like, "I want everything. I want your spirit." And then
Want your
this girl in
spirit?
here goes, "I want your soul.
Touch me their souls." I want your... Nah. Ain't no ways if somebody's whispering to me in my ear, "I want your soul."
The detectives have exhibited seemingly unending patience as she goes through one dramatic story after another, unprompted.
I told you not to move. I went to the Bermuda Triangle. I've done everything for you to love me.
Huh? Just gonna throw in just a random... I went to the Bermuda Triangle? What?
And you still don't love me. And I was like...
Somebody get her
The
some water.
officers are acquiring an incredibly detailed baseline of how she chooses to present herself. It's interesting that being in the situation that she's in, she would rather talk about past boyfriends than provide any kind of explanation for what happened with Stefan. It's important to note that this interrogation is unlike many others. The main difference is that this isn't a case of who did it, but a question of what really happened between Anna and Stefan that night. For this reason, the majority of the tactics the detectives usually use during interrogations aren't needed. Because she wasn't denying killing Stefan, the detectives just wanted her to keep talking, as the more she does, the more they have to use to discredit her. This is why they're so silent and don't ask her many questions.
Letting her talk, okay.
Anyone in my soul? I said, no, like, not my soul. You can have my body or me or whatever you want. You cannot have my soul. That belongs to God, right?
Ooh.
And
Woman
so
of faith.
I looked at James and he became my friend and he took care of me because I was afraid to go. So, I loved him as my friend, actually.
And that was up until 2012.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he cared for me and he loved me,
So he started to care more.
Yeah, of course, yes.
More than friends.
Yes. Yeah. He loved me, took care of me, and, he loved me, and I told him that I could not love him because I did not feel anything for him.
Come on, man. He's just trying to get your soul.
But he was there.
He's a nice
and
guy.
Then I didn't want to
give him a shot.
Him, but after a while, he kept, on and on and on and on and on. And then, I gave in after a while because then I said, well, he's taking care of me or whatever, He's always loved me like that, but I had no love. I couldn't love anyone.
Right.
The friend Anna has been talking about is James Jimmy Wells. Investigators were able to reach out to him to learn more about the relationship.
Anything beyond that dating relationship, talks of marriage, talks of kids. Okay, I'm just going to clear this up.
Actually, she did become with child at one time. We had a couple times, but we weren't serious.
It's just platonic. They just had sex a couple times, We were just good friends.
We were good friends.
The good old.
But she became with child one time, and but she suffered a miscarriage.
Okay.
She never mentions the pregnancy and subsequent miscarriage that James discussed during his interview, instead moving on to the story of her next relationship and a digression into her experimentations with holistic medicine before returning to the topic at hand.
And Stefan, he was older, beautiful. I like intelligence. He's respectable, and he treated me very good, and he liked my art. I showed him the beauty of art, the healing, and everything, and that's it.
Okay. Before we go,
what did it go wrong?
Talking about Stefan, I want to hear how this relationship developed with you and Stefan.
Yeah, that's it.
Before we do that, though, we have to take care of a formality in order for us to talk about that.
Okay.
Are you willing to talk to us about your relationship with Stefan, how it developed and how it basically unfolded? How
are you asking me if I'm willing to? Are you saying?
Well, we have to go through a formality where I have to read you a statement and make sure that you understand the statement before we can discuss anything about Stefan last night and your relationship.
We know the drill by now.
Okay.
We know the drill, chat.
An hour into the interview, Anna gets to the victim. The detective needs to ensure that anything she says in relation to the crime is admissible in court, so he wants to Mirandize her. The sergeant claims the procedure is just a formality, so as not to alert her to the seriousness of waiving these rights.
Is that something you're willing to do, willing to agree, so that we can continue to have our
Are you saying, though, I need an attorney? Are you saying...
Well, that's part of that.
He homicide. He died?
Despite his...
What? He homicide? He died? What?
Efforts, this declaration sets off warning bells for Anna. Even though they told her from the beginning that they were homicide detectives, Anna acts like she's just now learning that her actions led to his death. The surprise she's trying to convey at this point is likely disingenuous.
Yeah, Stefan is dead, yes.
I was giving him mouth to mouth.
Right, I know.
Her response to the news of
she tried her
Stefan's death
best.
is extremely suspicious as she has a little reaction and even gets a little defensive.
Unfortunate.
Yeah, that was relayed on the call to 911. The fact that you were performing CPR.
So are you saying?
No, what I'm telling you is that I want to continue talking to you about you and your relationship with Stefan.
Yeah.
I want to know from the very beginning how it developed. Now,
dude, I want to know when she went crazy.
Like to take a break. I actually need to take a break myself.
Yeah.
Do you need to go to the bathroom or anything?
No, I'm good.
Okay.
The interview has now reached the actual interrogation segment, and since Anna is expressing an adverse reaction to the impending Mirandization, the detective calls for a break. He likely wants to give her some time and distance from this negativity.
Sorry about that. We just need to take a break from this.
Okay, it's 10:05.
Okay, let me finish my water. I'm sorry.
Go right in.
No problem. Take your time.
I need some sugar.
Huh?
I need some sugar.
Okay, are you
I know
not
you were not
bad?
trying to eat some crumbs off my bed right there.
I'm sure you haven't had anything to eat at
A
all.
while, yeah.
Well, there's some candy bars in there.
Yeah.
There's like oatmeal cookies, cinnamon rolls. What do you?
Candy bar.
No candy bar. Okay, I'll grab one.
My thyroid is hyperactive.
Okay, yeah. Same way, yeah.
So yeah, it's fine.
While waiting for Sergeant Triplett to return, Detective Evans asks a few questions unrelated to Stefan that may provide some more insight into their suspect.
Have you ever been formally diagnosed with any psychological
Murderers need to step up their game. Step up their game, dude, for real. They suck.
No.
It's just
Tell me I
something
wouldn't be better
that
than
you
these
know
guys.
that has developed because of abuse that you've sustained in relationships throughout your life, or at least throughout the latter part of the.
Yeah, no, my
You guys
mom
should see me play Among Us.
my sister were
You guys should
concerned.
be impressed.
They didn't know, so I did have an
What I missed?
evaluation done by someone in Waco to put them at peace or whatever, and
No formal diagnosis.
No.
Okay.
Here, he likely wants to record any potential mental defects or insanity defenses she might allege,
what was she
or
claiming?
lack thereof, to help build his case.
What was she claiming she had? Was she like bipolar or something?
Anna begins to eat the candy as Detective Evans catches his partner up on what he missed. She seems rather unconcerned and at ease sitting there, chewing her food and elaborating on her suspected thyroid issue. But then she says this.
Is there any way I can change my pants or anything? It's making me sick and looking for blood.
This could be another stalling tactic, as it appears Anna is doing everything under her power to keep from talking about Stefan.
We need a cover or something.
We might be able to get you a cover, like a white Tyvek suit. You know, have you seen those before? They almost look like a lab suit. You know, the clean lab suits, the white. They're made by DuPont.
She's smiling, bro.
Those in our upstairs in our CSU offices.
Yeah, it's just.
Would you like for me to try to get you something like that? Okay, let me do this.
She's been sitting in these pants for
This one's called Crazy Girlfriend Finally Snaps, so.
hours, so it's peculiar that it's just now bothering her, especially since she's been casually chatting and eating candy bars.
Guys, which one's better? Chocolate, little donuts, little frosted chocolate donuts, or the white powdered ones?
At times, she was even resting her hands atop the bloodstains with no appearance of disgust. While the detective gets Anna something to cover her pants, let's take a look at what we've learned about her from the interrogation so far. Throughout each of Anna's relationships, there seems to be a common thread. She locates a rescuer who's willing to take care of her, says he's a good man, but when he allegedly suddenly
Pretty close. I probably agree, though.
develops problems, such as instability, abuse, or obsessiveness, she becomes a victim.
He became obsessed with me. He stalked me. He became possessed or something because he was breathing really hard. He just became obsessive, compulsive.
When this happens, she eventually finds the strength to get away into the arms of the next man that rescues her, repeating
I agree.
the cycle.
Charlotte's better.
Like a year and a half later or something, I met my second husband, and we were married. I became friends.
Oh, here we go. Here's the confession.
I met my boyfriend.
At this point, the former rescuer in her mind becomes her persecutor. This is classic thinking behavior of someone with borderline personality disorder, although to our knowledge, she's not been diagnosed with it. Left alone in the room with Sergeant Triplett, Anna makes no attempt to speak to him as she has with Detective Evans. She definitely seems to have triangulated which of the two will be her potential rescuer in this situation. The pair sit in silence for a few long minutes before
That's so
Detective
awkward.
Evans returns.
Okay, I've got a suit coming down for you. Well, you can actually put it on, or you can just drape it over your lap, whatever you want to do.
The investigation comes to a temporary halt as detectives wait for Anna to dress. When the medical examiner's report from the autopsy of
That's so
Stefan's
weird.
body came back, the official cause of death was reported to be blunt force head and facial trauma. The coroner also reported incidents of blunt force trauma to his neck, torso, and extremities.
Bradley at third for Rookie of the Year after the game. It's pretty good. Not terrible. He had a little shaky start, but honestly, like for a rookie, that man's
As there
dealing.
were many injuries along the arms and wrists. Needless to say, Stefan's head suffered the most grievous wounds. There were 10 lacerations and additional abrasions and contusions, bringing the tally to 25 separate injuries. not counting those inflicted to the rest of the body.
Dude, she went crazy on him.
Anna is now dressed, so detectives once again broach the topic of Anna's Miranda rights.
We're not going to blindside you here with anything, okay? We're here to try to understand things. But in order for us to talk to you about certain things, you have to understand.
Police can't draw. Facts, Jack. They need you in there. They need your dictaphone skills. Get in there and draw them some descriptions.
Your rights, okay? And this is just a formality that we have to go through, okay? All right, I'm going to read these to you one at a time.
What's up?
And then
stream it for me, my boy.
Yeah. Looking at Crazy Girl today.
Oh.
Crazy Girlfriend snaps.
Jimmy scored 22 points in the first quarter.
Who did?
Jimmy Butler.
Oh my God, they're going
22 of
28. They're going crazy. Yeah, we're only like 20 minutes into this. Didn't you have like some video you want me to watch or something?
Me?
I think you did, right? Didn't you say something like maybe it was a week ago?
It depends.
After each statement, I will ask you if you understand them.
The officers continue reading through.
Oh, wow.
He's kind of crazy.
Each, ensuring that she understands so that there can be no allegations of misconduct.
Why would I speak to you?
Wait, why is she crazy, by the way?
I don't know yet. Trying to figure that one out.
Or
okay.
Basically, they already know that she killed her man's. His name's Stefan.
Oh shit.
And like, there's like 20 wounds to his head or something. But she's claiming so far that it's all just self-defense. Like, she's been abused her whole life and stuff. So I don't know. She seems like not crazy yet.
Why?
Nah, I think she's pretty gone.
We'll find out though.
And not say anything and have my attorney present, I suppose, if I need one.
That's a personal choice. Yeah.
These statements show that Anna is not as out of it as she presented to be at the beginning of the interrogation. The fact that she's considering the risks of speaking.
Apparently, she still had like his blood all over his pants. So like that's why she requested something like to cover her pants.
Okay, so she's trying to say that. So does she think that she's innocent or that it's just self-defense?
She tried to make it sound like she didn't know he was even dead.
Oh, so she's like suitcase girl.
Which is actually stupid because she was trying to resuscitate him and literally like saw him die.
So she's like suitcase girl? Is that what we're dealing with? Another suitcase girl?
Maybe not. Honestly, I don't know. That suitcase girl was absolutely just crazy. I think she was just feeding for a cig.
He was in there.
She was just feeding for a cig.
Without an attorney present, shows that her thought process is intact.
Dude, Drax had a huge tick on her, dude.
Oh, those are a shame.
Yeah, he had to get it off yesterday. I think she's fine, though.
Tells us that the 1 hour of stories and tangents could be a manipulation tactic.
Why would you be stuck?
I suppose because from this point on, whatever I say without counsel, then you guys take them.
It's like what you don't do if you're trying to not act sus.
Am I being charged with anything?
No, ma'am. At this time, you are not charged with anything.
When she asks this, she reaches out with her hands, palms facing up, generally a sign that someone is trying to appear open.
So if I suppose that it was going to be more beneficial, or okay. So if I agree,
let me explain this to you. You're not.
She don't understand.
Person, okay.
What do you say?
Sure about that?
Well, I can ascertain the fact that you're an intelligent person. You're a very
gassing her up
person as well.
Anna clearly relishes the detective's compliment,
but light that shit
even
on
in
fire.
these circumstances, indicating she may be self-absorbed. The detective could potentially use flattery as an effective method to appeal to her.
We're not here to deceive you in any way.
Thank you.
Okay?
I have been the whole thing. I have been deceived a lot, you know? And it's... I want to trust. That's the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
I do trust. So I suppose that this is what it is if I openly talk to you because
She's not making no sense.
Yeah, I'm really trying to understand it. I'm just not following.
My brain's not just going,
you know?
It's not moving.
If I be quiet and don't say anything, does that make me seem like I'm guilty or I'm hiding something because I'm not saying anything until my attorney gets here? Or
Yes.
or
Yes.
it doesn't make
I mean,
any sense,
no.
like
Nah, I mean, you could just be smart, but like we all know that she's not smart. I mean, come on.
define
Let's be
and
honest.
You could have a little bit of a brain, but we all know you ain't got one.
If it's not, if I open up, or you understand? It's like
It doesn't do one or the other. It's a choice. It's a right that you have. That's why
Just say we know what she
that's
is. See what
why
she says.
we read you the right so that we make certain that you understand.
Anna claims she didn't want Stefan to die, but she's only expressed concern for herself thus far.
Facts, calm down.
She also seems unable to make decisions about herself, such as this one, without guidance. This can be a sign of
it looks like she really got beat on,
disorder. Someone
It really
suffering
does,
from
I
this
ain't gonna lie.
disorder has a constant need to be in a relationship
Maybe she just
and
won.
seeks out new ones as soon as a previous one ends, constantly needing someone else to take care of them. However, to our knowledge, she's never been diagnosed with this disorder.
it's really hard.
She intertwines her fingers in her lap here, as if trying to appear meek and small.
Would it make you feel better to talk about it or not?
I think it's hilarious that they already know that she fucking did.
And
Dude,
psychologically,
they started by telling her that they're homicide detectives.
And she still didn't get the.
Yeah. So then when her like they said like
She still didn't get the memo.
it was, and she was like homicide.
What does that mean?
What? He's like, and then he's like, dude, we literally told you that we were
While
homicide
seemingly an
detectives. What do you
effective
think that means?
technique, the detective's question here is
Wax, get
questionable
out from under
and
this.
possibly manipulative, as she's concerned with the legal aspects of speaking with them, and he addresses the emotional benefits instead. For the next 5 minutes, Anna goes off on yet another tangent, revisiting her past to continue painting the picture of herself as a constant victim.
I have been broken mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally. That's when I realized if I don't get up and I don't eat, I'm gonna die.
What I missed?
Finally, the detective speaks.
She's
and
still
begins
going
to
about how
play
she
into
was
her
the one that was being
mentality with the
abused.
intention of making her feel like he believes
still, was she
everything
trying to
she's
sell
been
him on?
telling them. This approach appears to work.
And it took you a while, mentally and physically, to get you to a point where you finally said, enough's enough. I've got to get up. I have to do something. I have to start
Smiling?
living
Dude, if
my
that's
life
smiling,
again.
that's creepy.
Okay? We understand that.
You know?
Dude, I feel like she could get this self-defense case going. Right?
Yeah, I don't know about that one anymore.
so you're saying that you do
Crocodile tears. Wait, what are
want to talk to
crocodile
us about
tears?
Crocodiles
last
can't
night,
cry, bro.
Stefan,
What?
your relationship with Stefan.
Crocodiles
For real?
can't cry.
You wanna
Wait,
really-
what?
Pretty sure,
Is that what
Right?
it means?
right? Crocodiles
Shot.
can't cry.
Oh, shot.
I'm pretty sure no reptile can cry.
What?
Yeah, fake, bro. Yeah, I don't think crocodiles can cry, bro. Can they? How does a crocodile fucking have tears? Explain.
I don't know. How do we have tears?
Waive your rights in order to talk to us.
Don't ask me, bro. I ain't a
I've
scientist.
never heard of that before.
She
Crocodile
performs
tears?
self-soothing gestures with her hands.
I've heard of it, but I didn't know
rubbing
exactly
one
what
atop
it
the
meant.
other, signs of elevated
But
stress.
That's close
She
enough. I'll
likely
take it.
realizes at this
It's a W.
point she can't get around talking about it. The detectives have done an excellent job guiding her to this point, as she was clearly
Dude,
on the fence.
Maybe I'm tripping, but I feel like it's honestly not that hard of a job, right? Come on.
Nah, it definitely is.
I mean,
Because here's the thing: when you're in the room, you don't have a narrator in the background telling you exactly what's going on.
I
And
know what's going on, bro.
Because here's the
I'd be
thing:
like,
you can
"Cut
even
the
go,
bullshit."
bro. Listen, you can even go to like the videos where they interrogate detectives, and they don't even know what's going on, and they know the process of interrogation.
Yeah, true.
Like, because
But
like
I'm
you,
him.
you don't know how it's gonna go until you hit him. Because what if you got a motherfucker like what was his name? The guy that was like thought he was a security guard or whatever. The goat.
The goat, Russell.
Yeah, imagine you get one of them.
Then you don't even have to do your job. He does it for you.
I mean, I guess, yeah, but like you're gonna get but, like
Nonetheless, the investigators
they're
spend
just
nearly
crazy
5
people,
more
bro.
minutes trying to get a definitive answer to this question.
No, the hardest ones for me would be like that one girl that was like crying after every time she would take a drink of water. She's like,
I don't think I was here for that one.
"Is he dead? Where is he?"
No shot, that's real.
Yeah, no, that was that whole video.
Okay.
Damn.
So you do wish to talk to us. Okay. So you're waving.
Oh, wait, that was the one with Russell
so
in it.
that you can.
It was the girl from that one.
I only tuned in half of
With
that. I was
official
cool while that was happening.
confirmation, the detectives can now question Anna without representation.
Just start from the beginning with
fucked
you
up.
and Stefan. How the two of you began
What a
your
name,
relationship.
Stefan, bro.
Off-brand
It was
Steven.
simply met at the lobby.
Steven.
I can see her Sam introduced us.
Dude, she sounds like it's a good relationship. That's what she's been talking about.
We went
Yeah, until she fucking murdered him and forgot his ass in a suitcase.
He was a biochemist. Okay.
Not because of the
They had that
work I was
chemistry.
doing to myself and everything. That's
Yeah.
interest. All I did was study.
I guess. If you want to call that chemistry, bro.
I was interested in him because of his knowledge
And his wisdom.
Because what?
and his wisdom. I wanted to write a book or or a manual and do all that. That was my interest.
Whose Lord, like
I'm
life
not
dream is to write a
interested in
manual?
anyone, romantically. I told him that I admire him.
I just want to write a manual.
You know what I'm doing with my life? Write a manual.
I was wanting to see him or be with him was because of his work.
Okay.
Anna seems to view some of her relationships based on how the other person can help her.
They befriend me and they're good and they trust me and everything, and then they end up wanting to be romantic with me, and I don't see them that way. I'm too loving. I care too much, and I don't want to
I
hurt
relate
their
right here.
feelings, and I'm an artist.
I am an artist. Everybody can see that on Gartic phone.
I'm in love with love. I love to create. I want to create
Fucker artist.
love and beauty and things, and I want to see you as a being. I don't
What?
want to
As a
see
being?
you as a man,
What?
and I don't.
I'm
need
lost.
that type of relationship.
What?
As usual, Anna
What
seems
are we
to
talking
struggle with
about?
staying on topic, choosing instead to talk about herself. She's leaning in toward the detective as
I
she
love them to
speaks.
death.
Often it's the detective
Literally.
who's the one invading the suspect's
She literally
space
loves him to death.
instead of the other way around. Her body language is conveying a level of closeness and intimacy that is unusual given the circumstances.
My interest in them was not romantic. I always.
Oh, I think you
wanted
also
to
missed the
work
part
with
where
them.
like she was talking about a friend that she had, and the dude was talking about how they had a completely platonic relationship. Besides the sex that they had a couple times, that's what he said.
Oh, just a couple times?
Despite this, she was not only sleeping with all of these men,
Platonic.
but often living with them, indicating that she was likely using them. Based on what she says, she may be incapable of love or attachment to people, suggesting that her behaviors align with a person who has antisocial personality disorder with strong narcissistic traits. There's a lot of overlap between narcissism and antisocial personality. But people with just pure narcissism, narcissistic personality disorder, typically do not commit murder. It's when antisocial personality traits are in the mix that the person often commits more serious violations of the safety and well-being of others.
Because I told him, I'm like, you know what? I'm very comfortable where I'm at. I said, and if all you want to do is play around or toy with me or whatever, I'm not interested because I'm very comfortable where I am
Tell him.
and I'm happy.
Slay queen.
W. I do not need to have someone romantically, and if
She's
you
got
just
her
want
priorities
a pastime
straight.
or something, I'm not your girl. Go
Yeah.
find somebody else because what I want is real. I want a real relationship.
W.
I want to have a man.
Where's this girl at? Where can I find her?
Jail.
give me her
credibility
her
with
cell
stories.
number.
First, she states that she has no interest
Where can
in
I find her?
Stefan.
Motherfucker,
It's not her
jail.
cell phone number.
Expresses
It's just her
interest in
cell
her. She
number.
wants something serious.
And as we started, everything was good. But then he did drink quite a bit.
Okay.
I didn't think anything of.
That's normal.
He's accomplished. He's
a biochemist. He's allowed to drink whatever he wants.
His life,
Pays the bills.
It's like.
I'm pretty sure this is literally the story of Jeffrey Dahmer. I'm not even lying.
But from the beginning, I'm like, if I'm going to see you as my husband, then I need for you to do certain things, right?
Like what?
I want you to. He's going to start exercising. I never told him that.
Oh, she was like, "You better start exercising, boy." Yeah. Oh my God, how do I accidentally?
He was red. He was puffy.
Oh, he was puffy.
There ain't no need to.
She's roasted
He
him.
also told me that he suffers from
Yo,
depression.
wrinkly ass. Shut the fuck up.
He's very depressed. that took a long time for him to even say that to me.
It is interesting that rather than establishing herself as
can we talk about why he's dead already?
Other relationships, Anna
Bro, I'm just mad that these people will go into these rooms and talk shit on the people that they just murdered. Like you murdered them already. Like what? Like why are you talking more trash?
Since Stefan was older,
like you've already
and
murdered him.
health,
Like what?
If
Like,
he did in fact attack her, it may have been possible for her to overpower him. Listing his numerous health issues, Anna tells the investigators that Stefan had an infection in his eyes, as well as an abscess in his back.
So I worked on him, and I found the abscess in his back, and it was huge. And so I broke it.
Jackson,
huge.
The healing, you know, I did what I did it, and
Jackson, I'll yank your tail.
I took all that infection.
Get out from under there.
It was an infection.
He's under my desk.
Getting close to his spinal cord already, and that's why he couldn't see, he couldn't hear, and it was already. He was dying. He was dying.
Wait, what?
In other words, he was not taking care of himself.
Right. He was dying? Why was he dying?
You know, taking him out, taking care of him, going out, trying to eat on a regular basis, out, make him walk, get him out of his...
Is this a dog or a human being? What is happening right now?
Even if true, Anna's detailed descriptions of all these negative features seems inappropriate for a loved one that has just died and begins to reveal more about
what
how
I'm
she
saying.
really...
That's always what I'm saying in all of these. If you really care about something that just died, like whether you killed him or not, like you're gonna be traumatized. These people do not see traumatized. They're too worried about talking about like, well, he was a little underweight. I tried to help him. His
feels about him. Naturally,
like,
Anna's
oh my God,
story
he's
is just
dead.
one perspective. Officers want to acquire varied points of view to determine the truth. Since Stefan is unable to speak for himself, they seek out others who knew him and interacted with him to speak to his character, while also learning more about Anna's reputation. One such witness is one of Stefan's closest friends.
In the beginning, I thought it was a perfectly normal relationship. But then both my wife and
I'm fucking with Stefan,
dude,
bro. No
you know that man had money, bro. This friend's name's Anders Birkenston, bro. Man's loaded.
Benedict Cumberbatch.
Feel a little bit uncomfortable.
Uncomfortable?
Okay. Be open, be honest. Okay, when you say uncomfortable, explain to me what do you mean by uncomfortable? Did she use bad language?
Give him the definition. Straight out of Webster's.
Make rude gestures?
I think it was more like she said strange things.
I think he was her sugar daddy.
Such as
strange things? What the fuck do you mean strange
things?
things?
Of wine or something, she could say.
What does that even mean?
Yeah, did you see that fish in there? And we said, no, I don't see any fish.
You don't?
What?
Okay.
After this peculiar revelation, the interviewing officer wants to further explore the dynamic between Anna and Stefan.
From my understanding from going through this entire case, everybody has told me that I've interviewed that Stefan always took care of Anna. He paid for everything. He took her everywhere.
Man.
He did every single thing for her.
Stefan.
Is that correct? He was always the guy that paid for everything.
Yeah, that's my understanding as well.
While Anna does acknowledge that Stefan was good to her, she doesn't sound particularly appreciative of this generosity.
He does not drive. He doesn't like to drive. And yet, we need things. We run out of things. And my license is expired because I have my residency. So I couldn't get my driver's license until I got my residency. Okay? So I'm stuck. I don't drive. He completely became obsessed with me. He loved me. And he was like, I was his everything. And then I would look up and he would be staring at me. Or I wake up and I was sleeping and I wake up, he would be there, like staring at me. Then
that's normal. That's what I be doing.
Bitch,
I would go to sleep, and he would wake up.
The fuck you just say, my boy?
And he would wake up.
Drax, I have given you 3 balls since the stream started.
I just want you to take care of me. He wake up like enough.
You've had enough.
Infancy. And I was like, God, that was weird to me because I don't like.
Wait,
I do not want to be with a child.
What did I miss?
And he was like, come on, ooh, make love. Or
what?
I just want you to take care of me. He wake up like an infancy. And I was like, God, that was weird to me. Because I'm
still confused.
Who? I do not want to be with a child.
Who's her? Is it like her cousin or something? I'm confused.
Child. And he
what?
was like, come on, ooh, make love. Or he get like, he want to make love and be like that. He was acting like a little kid. Psychologically.
I give her balls of food, okay? You don't gotta take everything out of context. The balls of food.
I was like,
In addition to contacting Stefan's friends, investigators went to Park Lane Apartments, Stefan's condominium complex, to learn more about both the victim and their suspect. There they met with the apartment's night concierge, who was present on the night of the murder.
Would you say you know by sight Anna Trujillo or possibly Anna Fox?
Yes, I know her by Anna.
You know her by Anna?
I remember when I first started working here, she came in with him. They were out, I guess, over at the park.
Was he beating on her?
They were out over at the park. But anyway, she,
that's the question I'd be asking. I'd be getting right to the chase.
Spoke with me, was real, really
I would mess around as a detective. I'd be finding out stuff real quick.
Each of them, the officer wants to get her perspective on their personalities.
Did you see them together? Yeah. Was he beating on her? No. All right, then he's good.
Seems like the type of man who could carry out an assault.
That's simple, fellas. You heard it here.
Case closed. Take her away, boy.
If anything that stuck out about Mr. Anderson, about his personality or his demeanor or the way that he treated you or other people.
Mr. Anderson was very nice. He was very
dang,
quiet.
bro. Everybody's gassing this man up.
Shy type person, real quiet. I mean, he always spoke, was
dang.
very cordial, and just kept to himself. The thing that stuck out
nice
with
guy.
me about her is she seemed like she was high on something all the time. Right? She
Oh.
was just...
She off the crack rock?
I could see that.
I don't know. She just had this... when she would talk, she would kind of be like a slur, but she just seemed like she was high on something. I couldn't quite put my finger on it, but her and him just didn't seem like a match to me. It was just odd.
While Florence seems unsure
is he's got money,
of Anna's slurring,
he can get
many
anybody.
witnesses, including her friend James Wells, stated that she was often highly intoxicated. He, of course, alleged that this was primarily the result of her adaptation to Stefan's lifestyle. Meanwhile, Anna continues.
So you think this guy actually beat on her? No, maybe he did. I don't know. The photos look like he did.
Cast aspersions on
Seems like a
Stefan's
nice guy, though,
lifestyle and personality.
he wouldn't bathe for a long time. He'd go days without bathing.
Why do I keep spilling stuff?
Like, you have to bathe. So
try to stop him.
He started getting better and made him shampoo his hair, started eating, and then I finally had to break down and tell him, just run, let's have I'm like, Stefan, I'm not there yet. I don't,
just straight to the point.
I feel that you're an older man, and I feel like I'm sleeping with my grandfather. It's not cool. I need for you to get healthy and to get good so I can be attracted to you, so you can be my man.
No, that's actually kind of messed up. That's messed up, right?
A little bit.
That's got to be messed up.
And so I told him, look, I need for you to go to the doctor because number one, you're waking up, you're either on some drugs.
Oh.
He would all of a sudden change. Obviously, I think he was using some type of drug.
Oh, was he
now? It to me. But I don't know why, because...
So what were you using?
He has a whole pharmacy in his apartment. I don't know. I said, like, you don't have to answer
Cliff bars.
You're either taking some type of drug,
he's
you
innocent.
change.
Man eats Cliff bars. Leave him alone.
And they act a certain way. Completely different. I'm like, you're either on some type of drug, I'm going to tell you, or... I'm sorry, but
I'm going to tell you.
I finally got to the point after a while I was sickened. He was maybe getting dementia or some mental thing was affecting his brain.
Now that she's torn down Stefan's physical traits, Anna attacks his mind as well.
You know, I said, or you're possessed. Just the way you act, you know.
That's some hard accusations right there.
I do feel like
she's bringing out every card in the damn book, huh?
I feel like I have the devil in me. You know what he said. I'm like... I take that very serious because that's real.
She may be trying to paint Stefan as a monster to validate her accusation that he attacked her, but her claims seem more and more outlandish.
Socially, he does good. That's when he comes home, that's when he falls apart, but I was there to see it. Nobody else saw it because he's never lived with anyone.
Right. While this could be true, it may be a preemptive attempt to cover herself in case anyone contradicts all these behavioral issues she alleges about Stefan.
It started to get so bad that I would tell him these things. I told him, you need to go get an assessment to see if you got dementia. Oh,
dementia.
It was like I was a messenger. He hated me for telling him his weaknesses or the things that he would do. He would get angry with me, right? And he hates me. And I'm like, I'm not going to stand here and be, you know, like, I'm trying to help you. And so that's when
Dude, Star Trek, I got a completely random question. I don't know why it just dawned on me, dude.
Oh, no.
So random.
That's never good.
Dude, it's might be so weird, actually, that I just thought about this. I don't know why, but I just started dazing off.
You're on stream, bro. Why you got to do me like this?
How do you think you'll die?
Me?
If you had to predict. How do you think you'll die?
I don't know, probably like old age or some bullshit. I don't know.
You think it'll just be old age?
Yeah, probably. I mean, knowing me, I'll probably end up doing something fucking stupid to get myself killed, but...
Dude, I don't know why, and I've always thought this, because I'm such a nice dude, you know, but like...
Yeah, such a
dude,
nice guy.
I feel like I'm gonna get shot. Is that weird? I feel like every corner I walk around, there's just gonna be somebody just like... Surprise!
Just waiting to murder you. Your whole life,
maybe
somebody's
it's all
just
the
sitting there
hours,
trying to murder you.
all the kills I got on Warzone, it's just all gonna come back to me. It's just gonna be, you know.
Man's gonna get
It's
shot
exit
in fucking
kidney
Charleston
failure.
and think he's in
Dang.
fucking Verdansk.
Verdansk. At least I'm with my gulag.
with my friend James.
For real, though.
Maybe Stefan was angry with Anna about her pointing out his flaws. Or
I don't know, I
maybe
feel like
it
I'm
was
gonna get
something
shot for some
else.
reason. It's so weird.
Whatever the reason, police found it in
crossfire,
the
like
Parkland
some
Apartments
crossfire
visitor
shit.
permissions.
What do you mean
Stefan had
crossfire?
granted Anna visitation
Who is
rights
crossing
2
fire?
different times.
Dude, like I'll
And
be just walking around in the street and 2 dudes are fighting, and then I'll just get shot.
each time he canceled those permissions. However, records showed that she was listed
I
as
don't know
a
why I was
guest
thinking
of the
about that.
apartment on the nights
Yeah, I
of
don't
June
either.
8th and 9th, 2013.
I mean, Stefan, he was
Back to Anders Birkenstein.
Nice guy, and
Nice guy.
I got
He's a real nice guy.
impression, but I'm not 100% sure, of course, because I was not up in the apartment. But that
Dude,
he,
this guy looks like a sugar daddy too.
regarded her as his
No? Does he?
ex-girlfriend.
Okay.
And then the Saturday, Sunday when he was killed, she was supposed to go to Waco. Stefan tried to arrange something with taxi and so on or whatever. And then I got this message on Sunday morning, which was a disaster.
Okay. So even though she was planning on leaving, going to Waco, and he was still, out of goodness of art, helping her go see
Dude, when
her
does this
children,
get
she did that
spicy?
anyway.
Yes.
Back in the interrogation room, Anna has changed her
What
tone.
Russell?
It got too much for me. I care for so much for him. You know, and what do? He has no family. Nobody watches after
No
him.
need to say
Nobody,
that about
no,
him.
he has nobody. And he
That's what I'm saying. How can you kill somebody
I'm
and be like, yeah, he's just a fucking piece of shit?
He's a nobody. Nobody
Yeah, he
cares.
is literally nobody cares. Nobody will miss him. You can just let me go. It's fine.
Just let me go.
Kind of went, and he's
Like
loved
nobody will
and
even ask
he's
questions.
beautiful,
We're all right.
I love him too.
These statements seem to contradict what she said
she
prior
just said he's
about him,
beautiful.
as well as their relationship.
She just said he's beautiful.
And then he would do really good. And then I'm like, okay, cool. You know, me too. I get happy.
Oh, cool.
Okay,
Cool.
we're doing good. You know, you're
Cool.
I would have to make sure, you know, he was always eating, and I was always worried about
She
him.
acts like he's a
You know,
dog.
and then, also, when he drinks,
You're that
he
dog.
wanted to give me the card and go on shopping sprees. And he bought me.
Oh, W,
We went
mans.
shopping one time, and he bought me $4,000
Dang!
from a purse.
God!
Stilettos.
And you killed him!
$1,500 for stilettos.
Yeah, for the rest of the money.
And then he bought a purse for $4,000.
Man, I like that.
That's
It's
right,
fucking nice,
the
man.
stilettos. Just one of many generous and
murdered him with
expensive
them
gifts
on?
that she claims Stefan purchased
She
for
got
her.
red bottom.
Oh, I forgot to mention a detail. He has a shoe fetish.
I did not know how much
Okay.
those things cost until they gave him the bill.
Right.
And then we came home, and I'm like,
Huh?
I'm like, to me it was a waste of money because here I am, I can do so much.
To me,
money,
it was a
you know,
waste of
and
money.
I don't
Man.
I don't like touching.
Ungrateful.
Why do you take it back?
Ungrateful.
Then why do you take it back? Then why do you take it back?
Pays the bill. And,
Hey,
and
Lou Moon, how you doing, man? Welcome to stream. We're looking at a crazy woman, supposedly. I mean, she seems pretty normal.
It's not supposedly.
Okay, yeah, she's crazy. Basically, she
She's
killed her
talking
man
about-
who was a biochemist. Sugar daddy. He had a shoe fetish. That's about it.
Cut
I don't
that
want to
part
touch
in there.
money. I don't can't handle it.
So one thing to be remembered for.
Yeah.
That's actually sad now.
What is
That's
it
actually
about the
sad.
money?
I take that back.
Dark mode Steve said that. It wasn't normal Steve.
I've been
Who's
possessed.
touched it? Or is
I'm sure he'll be remembered for his biochemistry.
I highly doubt it.
The detective may be trying to determine if she experiences obsessive-compulsive disorder here. Between this and his earlier questions about psychological assessment, he seems to be seeking a mental health reason to explain her behavior.
Because of what it represents.
Okay, that's
and
what
what people do to get the money.
That's what I thought.
Okay, yeah, it's a representation. And how people buy people and they kill and they do whatever.
Buy
they want
people?
just to get
Is that what you said?
Right? So
I heard that right?
I'm like, I do not want to be corrupted. I do not. I believe in that. I don't want to touch it. So therefore, I do the work. You take care of, the things that I need, and I'm good.
It
Like with
doesn't
the
make
red bottoms?
sense how she can want to be taken care of, but not want anyone's money. The two concepts go hand in hand. It's possible that Anna is trying to downplay the importance of money so that the detectives don't think she was using Stefan for financial reasons.
There's a cycle, a history here where you have become involved with people who have become confused because of the relationship. And they may confuse your kindness towards them, the way that you act towards them, for what
Buddy
they
over here is
want,
about to just fall asleep.
which
And needs to go to bed.
and oftentimes is
Now the detective begins to take a greater role in the interview.
I
shit.
am pretty open, pretty straightforward,
Mhm.
and they agree.
Right.
And I want to be friends. I say I want to be friends.
Right.
I don't know where in their mind, or I want to work together, and I do take care of you, and I love. Yeah, I mean, you're my friend, or if you're my boyfriend, then you're my boyfriend.
Right.
That's it.
A lot of men look at it
Until
and
you're
go,
not anymore. You're in the
yeah,
fucking
we
ground.
have
you're
things in
dead.
common now, but down the road, the common thing that's going to bind us is going to be that intimate or that romantic relationship. Is to where you've got a point where, no, it's not going to be that way because I'm not attracted to you that way, but I am attracted to you because of your mind and the things that you do in your life.
Yes. Anyway, so it got to the point he got upset and whatever, and then
Okay. When does it get bad?
regressed, like I said, and
She's got the palms, the open palms.
Okay, so
The open
point
palms. It
being,
means she's trying to hide some.
it's good. So
She seems confused and lost as she
Steven's
tries to
already a
pick up
fucking
her story
detective. Get him on
again,
NCIS
repeating
tomorrow.
Come on,
herself
hire
quite
me.
a bit. The detectives provide a summary of
Imagine
where she
one
was
day
at,
just a police force
up
is
to the
watching your
point
stream.
where
They're like,
Anna
this
had
gets kind of
returned
nice.
to saying
Like, yo,
Gets
it's
fucking
skills are kinda
recruited.
good.
the story once
see his
more.
Recruited.
See some
point
clips.
being, I went back with my
Show
friends.
him Among Us.
Show him the TikTok, bro.
Show him some Among Us clips.
Show him you just playing my ass.
So I feel safe there.
Show
and
him a
everything.
clean Steven Starcher double kill vent.
I guess one of his friends staying with him, and he has a little girl.
Ms. Trujillo know about Shonda? Is that her name?
Yes, all of us are friends.
Okay, you're all friends.
Yes, Shonda lives with me. Like
Okay.
we are roommates, and her kids live with me.
Are y'all in an intimate relationship, or
Yes, we're
you and Shonda are in a dating relationship or intimate relationship?
This is how she ended up being back at my house.
It's the guy that he was
Because
talking
she
about
hadn't been staying with me. She had been staying with him
earlier.
Out of nowhere,
That said
one
like
night in
they were
January, she
just
showed up.
platonic.
She was drunk with a lady from KCOH, the radio station. She dropped off. She was like, "Hey, I was just making sure." She told me to bring her over here, and at that time, I guess she wouldn't confide in me because I'm a man or whatever. But she told Shonda later on that night that she had gotten in a fight with him, and that's why she just showed up at our house.
James paints a different picture of Anna's arrival, far less amicable with Stefan than she describes in her version of events. That night, Anna got into a physical altercation with James's girlfriend Chanda. Anna claims that Chanda pushed her first and knocked her down before she began hitting her. She tells detectives that they made up and apologized, but Chanda still went behind her back and threw out all of her
Oh
things.
my god, I'm feeling so
Her
bad all of a
fight with
sudden.
Chanda demonstrates a propensity toward violence, and it is not an isolated incident.
This particular day I picked her up, I noticed that she was something was wrong. So she asked me to order her a drink. I bought her a wine.
I'm
I
gonna
got her
buy
something to
you a
eat, and we were about
drink.
to leave, but we stand at the bar, and I kind of asked her, I was like, "Are you drunk?" Because she was kind of acting kind of weird, woozy, but I couldn't play if something was wrong with her or if she was actually drunk because I hadn't been there before.
How would you describe weird?
She was just like kind of mumbling to herself, and I'm like, "Are you?" And then she was kind of like laughing and giggling. And I'm like, "Are you drunk?" You know, to the point, "Are you drunk?" You know. But I never thought anything of it. She drank her wine. We left. I took her home. When I got home, we were sitting in my room, and I'm sitting in my recliner chair watching TV, and she comes over as if she's going to kiss me. And she leans down and she bites me on my head. Like,
whoa,
you know,
what?
Like,
whoa,
pulls the skin away from my head. So
whoa.
At that time, I told her, you know, Anna, you have to
get the fuck out
because there's a 9-year-old here. She's a little girl. I don't want her. Your drinking has become a problem. So I don't want that kind of example.
I don't think the drinking's the problem.
W. James. She has to leave my house.
W. James. With nowhere else to go, Anna appeals to Stefan for help, just days before he would meet his end on the wrong side of an expensive stiletto. Unfortunately, this isn't even the first time that Anna resorted to biting someone while drinking.
I bet she beat him with the stiletto. That's my bet
victim of
right
her
now. That was the
assault
murder
Stefan
weapon
himself while they were dining at Bodega's taco shop. The couple were regulars there, and police questioned Herbert Vargas Diaz, the manager. He explained that some customers told him that Anna had gotten into an argument with Stefan during one of their visits and had bitten him on the face. While he admits he didn't see the actual assault take place, he did get ice for the wound. Incidentally, the customers in question were a couple that Anna and Stefan were dining with, which included his good friend Anders.
What'd you have?
What was score?
119 to 114.
Oh my god, I won.
What was it?
I had Jimmy Butler for 25, the Heat to win, and the money line over spread, or the spread, or not spread, but over points total.
As I recall it, from nowhere, and was extremely aggressive and bite him in his.
Bro, she's a biter.
So there was, I mean, really a bite mark in the cheek on the right side. And then she disappeared and left her bag with a computer.
Oh my god!
And everything.
Do you know why? Did you?
I won a good amount of money today so far.
Hear Anna make any remarks to him before she bit him? No. And number two, did Mr. Anderson say why she might have bit him after the incident?
God, I just started peeling after the shower. Jesus.
Was he? Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, the only thing I know is that Stefan and I, we left her bag at the Bodega's restaurant to the bartender and walked away.
Okay.
And
dude, I just want to hear her say, "Yeah, I did it, and I ain't sorry." That's what I'm ready for.
And I ain't
sorry. He was
emotionally extremely touched by the whole thing.
Because of the experience. Not that he was actually injured, but the emotion.
No, I don't want to grab that.
Nor is this the first time that Stefan allegedly suffered physically at Anna's hands.
He's probably like 60.
In a very literal sense on another occasion.
63? 62?
She was trying to strangle him.
She was trying to strangle him?
Yes, and he said to me, she is so extremely strong.
God dang.
Outside of physical altercations, investigators learned about other incidents involving unusual behavior from Anna. Lil Brown, the manager of Stefan's condominium complex, provided an incident report which contained several reported situations involving Anna Fox. The most significant was that on October 27, 2012, while extremely intoxicated, she reportedly sliced the hose on the back of Stefan's refrigerator.
Why?
Anders remembers his friend telling him about the incident.
Fucking break it.
The first thing I heard about was that she had pulled out the refrigerator from the wall.
No, this is crazy.
And tried with a scissor to cut the waters
Why?
the refrigerator. And
I was trying to soil that milk.
And said, "What are you doing? Yeah, there's an entity in there."
Anna's behavior suggests that she may have significant issues with impulsivity. Thinking there was an entity in the fridge could suggest that she may have been suffering from some paranoid ideation. Both of these symptoms can be present in someone with borderline personality disorder. Nighttime concierge Florence McLean was also present at the time.
She had cut the back water thing on the refrigerator.
Dude, how do people not catch these red flags?
We had to call maintenance to come and fix it because water was going everywhere. She said it was making a lot of noise, and so she cut the line with a knife. So it was like, why would she do something like that? But you know, Mr. Anderson was just real quiet about it when Sam went up there to check on her, and he just told me, he said, I told Mr. Anderson, why in the world would she do that? And he said, he don't know. She just went over and cut the wire.
However, as the incident drew to a close, the concierge on morning duty made a prophetic statement. I advise Mr. Anderson to take the incident with this lady very serious, or the situation could escalate into something major down the road.
A lot of people had warned him, even one of the other concierges that work here, Sam, he had even told him, you know, Mr. Anderson, you need to get away from that lady. She's crazy. She's very aggressive.
The report also featured complaints about Anna's behavior from
how did they
others
miss
on the
this?
property.
That's what I'm saying.
On site from another
This is
company
not normal.
also commented on her unusual behavior toward his workers, observing that she was pretty weird. In light of these recurring issues, Manager Lil Brown approached Stefan directly.
Manager
He
Lil
defended
Brown,
Anna as
dude, I
a
like
friendly
that.
person who he was helping out temporarily.
Dude, so far
but
every
agreed to
person has
discuss
said that he's super friendly. And that
That's
she's,
what I'm saying. He
she's,
seems like a
on drugs.
decent guy.
the incidents
He's
with
just
her.
a decent guy with a shoe
she'd been
fetish.
staying with him a month at that point, and the hotel staff
piece of shoe
wanted
fetish sold him.
clarification. Manager Lil Brown made a special note to keep an eye on Anna Fox. Investigators continued to learn about more examples of Anna's negative behavior. Describing the previous incidents reminded Anders of another situation that Stefan had to endure.
She took his car, was driving around somewhere. It was destroyed and he had to repair it for quite a lot of money.
After learning of these events, the investigator has a few relevant questions.
Why would this
for
dude stay with her?
Did he ever say he was in fear for his
It's like,
life?
yeah,
or
she
anything
cut
like
my
that?
fridge hose. She destroyed my car a little bit, but she got some nice toes.
No, and he just, even though these incidents happened, he still stayed with her. And
Right.
did he ever tell you that he loved her or anything like that?
No shit, he fucking
did
loved her.
that in
Hello?
the beginning, definitely. And he was very happy meeting her.
Poor guy,
That's what I'm
dude.
saying.
But then,
Dude, so many people get
after
blinded by
this
love.
incident at Bodegas when she bit him in the cheek, then my wife and I said we are not going to meet when you were together with her because we feel afraid.
Yes, sir.
They're afraid of her.
But then I don't know. I got the impression not long time before he was actually murdered that he felt threatened by her. Because he called me and asked for something, talking about something, and then he said to me several times, I have to stop, she's coming.
Dude.
This doesn't sound
Dude,
like
sounds
the
like a
same
fucking
Anna that
video
she
game,
herself
bro.
was
For real.
describing back in the interview room.
Like a fucking
And
movie.
believe me, I try to keep the peace, you know? But anyways, we got into a fight yesterday. She hit me. Look, I still have the bruises with the stick. She kept a stick. She hit me with it, also. And then James got in there too, you know, and by then, you know, I was like, I calmed down or whatever, but then, you know, I was talking to him and he said that, oh, by the way, so-and-so's coming. What, you know, I was talking to him and everything. I turned and I hit him with my teeth on his head because we were sitting together. I turned
Hit him with
a likely story.
Head.
And so I hit him with my teeth on his forehead.
You know what?
And he became angry. He
I
thought
believe
did it on
her.
purpose, and I didn't.
Honestly,
This explanation
same.
of the injury to
I
James's
believe her. I do that all the time, honestly. Whenever I just look over something like,
Yeah, I love in self-defense just fucking
head
gnawing
is not only
somebody's forehead.
peculiar, but deviates from his version of the story, especially since she's implying the situation was entirely accidental. According to a police statement, Chanda claimed that Anna started the fight and showed the officer her defensive wounds. Anna went to the hospital for her injuries, but the officer didn't file charges because he wasn't sure who was to blame.
When that happened, of course, I called Stefan, and then, you know, I've been staying with Stefan. Yeah, I've been staying with
dude,
Stefan.
how much time's
and
left on this
Stefan-
thing? 30
Because
minutes?
Stefan and I were, you know,
Her open
We're
hands
still talking
spread
about
out
how,
in front
like,
of her
how they,
is
like-
known as the rogatory display.
Rogatory
This body
palm
language
position,
usually
yeah.
indicates that the person wants the other person to believe what they're saying. It is a low confidence position, so it can be a red
Do I ever do
flag
that when I'm
if the
talking?
person is stating a fact, while
I
their
never do that.
palms are open like this. Truthful individuals usually don't need to ask or plead that someone buys their story.
we're doing good, and he's better, and, you know, he's bathing, his skin is not,
Okay.
you know, he's looking better.
He's
feels
looking good.
Now he's like, He's spiritual. He believes.
And then I grabbed my high heel and then I put it through his forehead.
He was inspired, and he said that he didn't think he could love again, but I brought love again to his life, so he's very grateful.
What a nice guy.
Anna begins to describe her relationship with Stefan as idyllic in the days in which the murder took place. It's common for people who are guilty of wrongdoing to lie or exaggerate about having a good relationship with the victim.
Yeah, I feel like they
before
do
the
this
crime
all the time.
in an attempt to remove the motive for intentional harm.
Every time they do this,
In
I feel
her
like...
case, it also sets up the common pattern of a sudden and unexpected victimization.
And then, of course, James is devastated, and he keeps calling me back to go back, that he will forgive him, and and forgive him, and he's sorry that he loves me, he never meant to hurt me, blah blah blah. And I'm like,
blah blah blah.
No, from then on I got my things.
In her story, James is constantly calling her and begging her to come back, which is vastly different from what he said. He does say that he eventually heard from Anna again, however, regarding her belongings. Anna now directs the narration to the events of that night, the last before Stefan's death.
Come on, get to it already.
15-50, we were drinking, everything was
So
good.
you and Stefan went out?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
What's 15-50?
It's a club
Okay.
on Alameda.
Ooh, it's a club.
We go there, we eat. That's what we do. We eat, and it's very
Who the fuck goes to a
everybody's-
club to eat?
Yes, we went, we ate, and we were having celebrating, we were having a nice time, and it was good. And
Anna noticeably gets tripped up when discussing the evening at the club. Any change in speech patterns and demeanor compared to a suspect's well-established baseline is something in which detectives will note.
it was good, and people were talking to me, and it was okay, and he got.
Dude, I would fall asleep just listening to hear this all.
No, nothing. I'm like,
I would just be like, dude,
change.
why'd you do it? That's what I would just say. Why'd you murder?
Like, he started to kind of get, real kind of possessive and kind of bringing me in, and I'm like,
The people you were talking to, were they
they're in the club right
in
there.
your group that you were with?
No, it was just me and him we went.
Okay.
We were sitting
So
at the bar.
Essentially, they were strangers.
Yeah.
So he's getting jealous you're talking to strangers.
Right?
Yeah, but he was right there. He was right there with me.
As the atmosphere begins to change, Anna once more indicates that Stefan
That was interesting
is the
workout. What'd you work out today? Did you work out some arms? It is pretty. Honestly, I don't know how you could work out with this chick just talking in your ear
force of
about her
discontent.
love with Stefan.
And then somebody ordered like a drink. I think it was like a gin, and they put cranberry. And I'm like, Bombay and
You guys
I'm
can
like,
see that. I just peeled off
and
a
I
huge
heard him.
chunk
I'm
of
like,
skin.
I said, what was the drink? He goes, did you put cranberry and and gin? It's like, yeah. He goes, it's really good. And I said, oh, okay. He goes, if you don't mind. He goes,
back and by.
Here, he didn't tell me, but he ordered a drink for me too. And he said, here, if it's okay, he asked him, if it's okay, I want to try it. And so he got me a drink. But then that, I felt he didn't like it. He got, I guess,
Jeremy, I'll let you pick what I work out tomorrow. Do I do like leg day? Nah, actually, never mind. We're not doing leg day.
Drinking and everything,
We'll do leg day Thursday. I've been out of the gym for like a week, so I want to hit some buys. What happens when I get home? The yoga room is full, and there's a guy playing on his Oculus Quest in there. What, at the gym? Somebody's playing on their Oculus? W-Mans.
And we were fine. He was okay. Well, okay, so we go home and everything's good.
Despite Anna's explanation of Stefan's seriousness and jealousy issues, she claims that everything was fine and good, implying they left and went home without incident. However, investigators learned that she'd skipped a few key elements in her story that took place in between. Stefan had called a cab when he was ready to leave the 5015 bar, and it arrived at 1:45 a.m. Rosemary Gomez was the official cab driver.
We had noticed during surveillance images that they
Did you say you just need a workout of 20 sets of Bulgarian split squats? I don't even know what that is, so I've only been working out for a few months, so I don't know all this like Bulgarian split squats. Like, how do you guys come up with this stuff?
couple, man and woman, had been dropped off at the location by a yellow cab.
Is it just
and
squats?
You were the driver of that yellow cab.
We just call them squats?
Yes, sir. Okay.
No.
This is actually untrue.
You do it with a dumbbell.
Investigators later learned that she was, in fact, the
You know what they are?
passenger. She was actually in the passenger
How do you know that
seat,
stuff?
running the meter and
I keep up with
GPS.
workout stuff.
The
I just don't
actual
work
driver
out.
was her common-law
I
husband,
know a lot about working
Reagan
out. I just don't
Cannon.
work out.
Oh,
She claimed that she occasionally
work out
brought her
with me then, I
husband
guess.
along so she would feel safer
Yeah.
driving at night. And she was afraid that if her company learned that he was actually driving at the time, she would lose her job.
When I pulled up, a male came out, and an older gentleman, white-haired, and I asked him,
What
I said,
happened to
is
her-
your name? His name was Esteban.
Esteban Julio Ricardo Montoya de la Rosa.
Anyway, I'm forgetting.
Stefan Anderson.
Mr.
forget the last
Anderson,
part.
that's
Okay.
correct. Because it's on the meter, his name prints out. So I asked him, are you Mr. Esteban? And he said, yes.
Okay.
And he said, I said, did you call for
Ramirez.
a
How
cab? He
could I
said,
forget Ramirez? I was going to say Ramirez, but I didn't want him to sound wrong.
He said, can you wait just a minute? I have a friend going
Oops.
with me. And I said, yes, sir.
Throughout her explanation, she refers to herself as the driver, leaving her husband out of the narrative completely.
So then he comes back because he was having trouble getting her in the, to come.
Okay.
So that's what I figured because he kept talking to her and telling her to come on. Then he comes back and he said, my friend is going to go with me. And I said, are you sure? And he said, yeah. He said, just please give me a minute. Can you wait? I said, yes, sir. So then he goes back again and then he comes back. And then I said, Mr. Esteban, are you going to take this taxi? And he said, yeah, turn the, he said, if you have to turn the meter on.
Okay.
And I said,
She
okay.
talking fast as
So
hell,
he
or is
said,
that just me?
Some people I just can't listen to when they talk. This chick's one of them. Like, you got to add some spicy details in there or something. Like,
just a minute,
Well,
my friend.
I feel like if you're talking to the police, you're not going to want to add any spicy
if I'm talking
details.
to police, bro, I'm spicing that shit up.
He said, yeah, I shot her
You know what I'm
47
saying?
times in the chest and shot her 14 times in the body.
I did miss one bullet. And the first one, I flicked the shit out of her.
And then afterwards, I grabbed an RPG and just blew up the whole fucking house.
Aaron called you missed the last 10 minutes or so?
Who's coming with them? So when I
Honestly, you haven't
told him,
missed much. The chick still hasn't said she did anything. She's just talking about how he's a super nice guy and he just was obsessed with her. They were at a club and she was talking to strangers and he got jealous.
the third time, he's going back to the same lady, and I can't hear exactly what
Not
he
the same
says,
lady.
but all I heard was the lady scream. The lady said, "Go get a cab," real loud like that. I mean, I could hear it plain and clear. She said,
She was
"Go
eavesdropping.
get the cab."
Later, detectives were able to get in touch with Reagan Cannon to hear his side of the story as well.
So that girl,
Another
Anna,
person.
when she got in the cab, what'd she say to you?
What did she say to me?
Yeah, was she
was this the
cussing
cab
you or was
driver?
she cussing Rosemary?
Yeah.
She was cussing the man.
Oh, she was
Well,
cussing.
she was just cussing in
She
general.
was just cussing.
Just being a butthead. Well, at first,
Just
whenever
being a
we stopped
butthead.
at the bar to pick him up,
I
he
like this
came
guy.
out. He asked us to hold
She was
on.
just
that
being
he
a
had to get
butthead.
his friend.
Okay.
And he went to the door, and she was standing right in the doorway.
Okay.
It was a side entrance, and
She was being a
she was
butthead.
standing right in the doorway
I hate
talking
when
to
people are
another
just
man.
buttheads, bro.
And he walked up to the doorway to her and asked her to come get in the cab. Told her he had a cab.
Right.
She starts hollering at him, telling him to go get a cab.
Okay.
And he's telling her, "I've got a cab in the parking lot."
If there was any doubt, all
Dude, this guy
reports
seems like he was
indicate
just
that Anna
abused.
was highly
Straight up.
intoxicated.
And I'm like, man, she would find her another cab. Sitting there, I would have got in the cab and said, "Lady, however you get home the best way you can, 'cause I'm out of here."
Okay.
Because I'm out of here.
I like that guy.
Because
He's
she's
funny.
having
W cab driver.
trouble walking,
Okay.
and he's holding her hand, and he brings her. Okay, the door's open on the back door on the passenger side.
Okay.
So he comes around to my side, the driver's side, and opens the door and gets her in. She gets
Okay.
in and sits down, and then as soon as she sits down, he goes around and comes in and gets in and shuts the door. And I said, "Where are you going?" And it showed on the meter. I said, "Is this the address?" He said, "Yes." Right away, when he said yes, the lady proceeds to tell me how to go and how to drive.
Okay.
She said, "We're going to so-and-so address, and you good up here." And she said something, and I said, "Ma'am, I got this. I'm going to put it
Who
in
is
the
this
GPS
woman?
and
Let me
we'll
do my
find it."
job.
She said, "I'm telling you how to go, and this is
Passenger in Anna and Stefan's cab.
the way
Passenger
you're
in
going
the
to
cab?
go."
And she
Why there's just a random person in the cab?
I guess maybe he's doing two stops at
and
once.
He's trying to give directions.
Is that
to
even
her, and
allowed?
she's telling
I
him
don't
to
know.
shut up.
I think it is.
that
I don't think that's how that
what
works.
he's talking about and this and that.
So as we're going along, she's trying to tell me how to drive and how to get there. She's still going on
Backseat
cussing
driver.
and stuff. And I just thought in my mind, this lady's had too much to drink. I'm just gonna ignore her. And so then when she was in the back and she tells Esteban, Mr. Esteban, she said, Esteban, what the he said, aren't you going to tell her anything? And he says, what do you want me to tell her? She's not doing nothing wrong. She'll get us there. He says, be quiet. She'll get us there. He says, she's doing her job. And she said, what the she was just...
Well, you can tell us. I mean,
she was just going, what the She said, you're not going to tell her nothing for telling me something? And he's like, but she didn't do nothing wrong to you. He said, just be quiet. We'll be home in a minute.
Rosemary then goes into a detailed description of Stefan's demeanor during the events, which corresponds with what other witnesses have said about his personality.
Dude, how does this end?
Mr. Esteban, he was very calm, very patient,
20 minutes left.
Very, passive type of person. He was just like attending to her, helping her. You know what I mean? He never got out of line. He never cursed. He never raised it. He was just very calm, very nice.
Dude, I feel so bad. Everybody's literally just gassed this man up.
House,
every person.
It said $6-something, almost $7. And he said, I don't have cash. And I said, you don't have cash? He said, no, can I pay with the credit card? And I said, you want to pay with the credit card for $7? And he said, is that okay? And I'm like, well, if that's all you got, okay. And then she says, then the lady butts in and she says, why don't you come tomorrow? She said, just come back tomorrow and pick up your money.
And she proceeds to tell us, don't worry about the cab fare. Come and get it tomorrow.
I said, ma'am, I'm talking to him. And she said, you. She said,
God.
She was very,
this bitch is mean.
bossy and pushy.
Aggressive.
And bossy and pushy. And she's like, I told you, she was talking to me like that. She said, I told you to come tomorrow, and get your money. I said, man, we don't do that. I said, I'm taking care of it. And then Esteban told her, he said, be quiet and behave. He said, we'll be out in a minute. He said, just wait.
So we wouldn't, you have to unlock the doors to let the customer out.
Yeah.
We didn't unlock the doors.
And that's when she got nasty with you or with Rosemary, right?
Right. She starts cussing, let me out of this cab. And we told her, ma'am, we can't let you out of the cab until you make arrangements for payment.
Yeah.
Well,
that's understandable.
Yeah, she proceeds to scream and cuss and holler. You can say what you want to me, but you ain't going to say a whole lot to my wife.
Yeah, that's his wife.
And I looked at Mr. Esteban. I said, Mr. Esteban, that's it. I'm calling the police. Because she was...
Why is she calling him Mr. Esteban?
She was too drunk, she was cursing, and she was starting to get mean. And I don't take chances with customers like that.
Inside the complex,
So I
Florence
beat her
Matrini
ass.
is working the desk.
I recalled actually, she came in first. I saw the both of them pull up in the taxi, and she got out of the taxi. She came in first, and she came straight to my counter, and she said, boy, we had a really rough night tonight. This taxi cab driver drove us all around out of the way, and he expects us to pay for it. And
that's kind of how it works.
I'm trying to tell him he doesn't have to pay for this.
Anna was likely still fuming that the cab driver wouldn't follow her personal directions to the hotel.
And then she called out to Stefan. She said, Stefan, come on here,
Where was she when she said that?
She was standing here at the front desk, and then she said it again, and then she walked to the door, and she said, Stefan, come on, just come on inside. And she was real aggressive with it. And he was out there trying to pay the taxi cab driver.
That's what I'm saying.
And from in here, he indicated, go on in, but I couldn't tell what he was saying. To me, it looked like he was indicating just go on in. And that's when she went back to the door again, and she opened the door and she said, Stefan, come on inside, and then she just walked on and went on and took the elevator up.
And when me and him were in the car, and we were waiting for the authorization, and I told him, I said, Mr. Esteban, I said, what were my exact words? I said, Mr. Esteban,
get out from under that desk.
I said, I don't know the man. I never seen him or met him, but the way she was acting, I said, Mr. Esteban, you need to, I've been around a lot of joints.
Yeah, this one's kind of dragging out. I ain't gonna lie.
Be careful. I said, this
Okay, I'm kind of confused with what's happening in the next, 15 minutes?
Trouble with the police or something bad's going to happen.
How does she go from
the way she behaves when she's drinking. And when he left, he was free some leave. I told him, I said, Mr. Esteban, and he said, yeah. I said, please be careful. I said, because, I said, your friend is, he never said girlfriend, wife, or who she was. He just kept mentioning her as friend.
He was in the friend zone.
I said, please be careful. And I said, because she's had a lot to drink and she's not in her right mind.
This wasn't the first time that Stefan received a warning to stay away from Anna, but it would be the last.
Did she kill him in the
Finally,
hotel?
Anna prepares to explain the events that would ultimately lead to Stefan's untimely demise.
Finally, let's hear it.
Well, okay, so we go home and everything's good. And then...
everything's good.
I have my things, and I was, as a matter of fact, tomorrow I was going to go to Waco to visit my family. And I was going to leave to see my daughter and to see my mom. And so when we got home, I said, okay. I said, well,
Dude, by the way, everybody, I want to know, I hit my 100-day streak on Duolingo yesterday.
Let me do my things. Because tomorrow, I'm going to leave. I said, and let's make plans because it's Aaron's birthday. It's on the 15th. He changed. He was like, no, what's wrong? No, nothing. And I was like, okay. And so I let it go.
This could, of course, have something to do with the taxi events, which she didn't reveal to investigators.
And then
dude, I don't know why I'm so comfy right now, just sitting on the armrest of my chair.
And I went to the restroom.
I'm sitting on my armrest. I've been sitting on my armrest with my feet in the chair.
And he was just really serious and had this weird look on his face. And I'm like, okay, what's wrong? He's like, I get jealous when you're talking to those guys and, and if you're
jealous type.
I'm sorry. I know I get jealous. I can't help it. I just want to keep it to myself. And they're so beautiful. I know, you can talk whatever you want, but I be gassing. And I'm like, no, Stefan. It was you were there.
Herself
you didn't do anything. You saw me, and
Anna represents herself as the calm voice of reason here, which is completely
when everybody else said
witness reports.
She crazy.
Started to escalate, right? And then he started. He goes, oh, and then now you're gonna leave. You're gonna leave a whole week. And I was, yeah. You said it was okay.
Bitch,
you're supposed to come and we're supposed to go look for
I think that's what happened. He was about to leave that bitch. That's what I think
happened. And then, because he has some, he's working
he was about to dip out, and then she was like, oh, shit.
Can I have some more water?
Mid-sentence, Anna stops and requests more water. This demonstrates how emotionally disconnected she is from the situation. This also appears to be a stalling technique so she can think about what she's going to say about how Stefan died.
He started getting jealous. Like,
okay.
You're going to go with your mom.
So at what point did he attack you? Let's hear it.
I'm not going to see you. And I was like, it's okay. If you don't want to, I won't go.
At this point, it would make sense for Anna to be mad or upset. And her depiction of herself in this manner is difficult to believe.
He starts to get out of control. And he's yelling and he's put into a frenzy. And I said, you know what? And just because what happened, I'm already bruised and everything. Believe me, I'm the one that always leaves. Because that's the only thing I can do. Right?
Oh, this is just cap.
He didn't let me leave. He wouldn't let me leave.
So what happened this time? What did he do?
Tonight.
Help me understand, okay?
Yeah, help me also.
When he wouldn't let you leave.
What the fuck did he do?
Did he just tell you couldn't leave? Did he stand in front of you?
Yeah, that's what I'm
saying.
What happened?
Did he
just say grab me?
Push you away from the door? Pull you away? What was this process of not letting you leave?
How was he prohibiting you from leaving?
Told me not
to. Because the suitcases were there by the door. He thought I was just going to grab him and leave, right? But to be honest, I don't care. I'm just going to leave, and I don't care what material things.
Right.
But he doesn't like it that I don't care. Because he can't stop me. You see?
This seems like a critical component for her defense. Yet Anna doesn't actually answer the detective's questions. This is a deflection and a huge red flag. Furthermore, she contradicts herself by saying that Stefan wouldn't let her leave, then telling detectives he can't stop me when they ask how he was preventing her.
I was crying. I was saying really mean things, right?
You can't stop me.
And then
I thought you couldn't leave though.
he started
What he started doing?
Making fun of how, I'm not like your friend. I'm not gonna beat you up. I'm not gonna hurt you. I would never hurt you. And you know, and like,
and you know,
just,
she's talking
what?
like me.
You know, like degrading me and telling me that I was basically stupid for allowing somebody to hit me.
The way she touches her head and shoulders while explaining this verbal assault are out of sync, which is an indication of deception. This movement is an illustrator which should sync up to natural
Rip, the Lightning
punctuation
lost in
points.
overtime again?
But Anna's seem to be
That's
slightly
an L.
off.
Down 3-1.
This use of an illustrator may be just for show,
Big old
and an
rip.
attempt to make the detectives think she's being truthful.
I'm like, please stop. Please stop talking. Please stop. Stop talking. And he wouldn't stop.
Okay, so what point?
And his face got red.
I thought the cops started laughing, bro.
Changed. He became infuriated, mad.
She uses exaggerated facial expressions as
expression
she
again?
claims she got red and infuriated, which makes little sense if she's being as calm and agreeable as she claims. On top of that, she seems to enjoy telling the story and having the attention of the detectives.
And then I started to shake, and I became like, you know, because I saw him, you know, and then he just came and towards me. You're not going to go anywhere. You're not going to leave me again ever. And I'm like, no. And so he grabbed me, and we started.
What was he doing?
We started.
What was he doing?
Fucking baseline as she stutters and repeats over her words while trying to explain what happened when he allegedly grabbed her.
Turning.
Turning?
Know, like he's a weightlifter.
Cranking.
He's a weightlifter. What?
Lift weights when he was young.
What?
So he's very strong.
Now that it's a benefit to her cause,
really like me
Stefan
for
is
real.
strong, a former weightlifter.
I
whereas
thought before he was
she
super
described
weak.
At length that he was old and sickly.
So when he grabbed you, y'all start like wrestling.
Okay.
Yeah, because he grabbed me.
Okay.
You know, and I was like,
Where in the where in the apartment were you at that point when he grabbed you? Do you remember?
No,
we were in the hallway.
This is
Where he
where
died?
Stefan's
The hallway.
body was later found.
We started wrestling around.
Okay.
And I got away, and he came after me, and he grabbed me, and he wouldn't let me go, and he started
I'm
wrestling.
confused. Is
with
this
me.
man Arnold or is he
I
like
was
just some old guy? I'm lost.
Fighting, right? And I was begging him to let me go, but I did grab by the hair, and I was trying to get out, you know?
So how'd you kill him?
He wouldn't. He got more on top of me. And I couldn't breathe. I was on my face, you know?
Is he sitting on you or laying on you? Or?
Yeah, he's on top. Yeah. Like, yeah, he
All
got
of the
me.
above.
You know, he wrestled because I was trying to get away.
Yeah, he's beating my ass. He's sitting on top of me.
And so I remember grabbing him by the hair or his shirt or whatever I could, right, to try to get from underneath him because I was suffocating. I wasn't breathing in it.
The entire retelling of this story is problematic. She states that she grabbed him,
don't
but when
say.
acting it out, she reaches her hands over her head behind her. She also describes the details with no reference to her feeling scared or fearful. People usually include their own emotions when telling a story like this if it's true. In addition, when a person that has experienced such trauma tells the story for the first time, they rarely recall the story in sequential order as she's doing. They usually jump around a lot.
And so I was like, and he was hearing me, and I covered it. So the only thing I could do is get this arm, and I don't know if I took my shoe off or I was there. And I was pleased that, and I wasn't in there, so I got the shoe, and I started,
it was the shoe.
Like, whatever I could, I was trying to grab whatever I could.
It was the shoe.
Yeah, I was hitting him to please get away, right?
Based on how she just described her positioning, it doesn't seem possible that she could grab a shoe that she was wearing, and her reenactment of hitting him in the head with it seems improbable. The reenactment itself is unusual, as most people would feel guilt and shame for their actions and would refrain from reliving it in such a way. Furthermore, crime scene photos indicate that the other shoe was still in place.
Dude, I'm sorry, but you know how messed up it is?
As it seems
that a guy with a shoe fetish died to a shoe.
Seems unlikely she would return there after the confrontation. It seems more probable
that's
they were both
messed
there on
up.
the floor, and she grabbed one of them there in the hallway where he died.
Yeah, he's probably satisfied.
That's what I'm saying. He's probably living life.
Well, I was hitting him.
I mean, not actually, but you know.
So then
He's definitely not living life, Starcher. That's probably not the best way to describe it.
Yes, my bad.
Don't let me go.
My bad.
You know? And I was like, let me go. And
This is another questionable part of her story. If she were truly in flight or fight mode and was able to get out from beneath Stefan, she likely would have fled and tried to escape.
And then he, like, when he would grab me, he was trying to hit me, and I was like, please. I was just, and then he grabbed me.
I don't know why this is funny the way
I was just hitting him with the shoe, please stop. And then that's when I was trying to get, and he wouldn't let me
The 10th round.
He had me, and I was like, please. And I was like, Stefan.
Dude, I had that Stefan money line too. God.
Stefan, please. Listen, you're bleeding.
I think the parlay might be good. There was an interruption by shoe, bro.
Yeah, you're good. Anna's jeans were soaked with it.
If I let you go, can you not hurt me? I was afraid if I got off of him.
So she's on top of him now.
I thought you could beat his ass. What happened?
I know. Nah, I wasn't. I know.
I thought you could beat his ass. Where'd that go? Where'd that energy go?
Hurt me. So I was having him, and I was like, please, Stefan, you know? And he was like,
Is he a dog?
You know, please.
Bro, I told you, she's really acting like this motherfucker is an actual dog.
I'm gonna call help because you're bleeding. And he's like, okay. He still said, okay. You know, and I'm like, okay. And then that's when he said, okay.
She got off him, and then he attacked her again.
I moved him and everything, and he was breathing, and then he started going through my body. So I'm like, Stefan, and I don't know.
I gave him CPR with my shoe
Her
to
story
his
is
head.
beginning to break down here, but she makes special emphasis repetitively that Stefan was breathing.
I didn't know what to do first, to go look for the phone or leave him. So I started doing mouth to mouth, and you know, just because
the shoe.
He was like grasping for air.
Given the state the police found Stefan, if she
dying,
had given mouth to mouth to him, she would have had blood all around her mouth area. Yet she doesn't.
He was breathing, and I'm like, okay, you're breathing. Okay, then that's when I grabbed him and I was doing the, you know, yes, and then I was breathing and then up and Stefan and you know and everything, and then when he started breathing. I heard his breath, like, okay, good. I said, stay awake. And I hit him, like, stay awake. Like, please, stay awake. And then that's when I went to look
I
for
hit
the
him to
phone.
make sure that he
And
stayed
that's when
awake
I
as he was
called.
dying.
And that's it. That's what happened.
That's what happened. That's it.
And just like that, Anna's narrative comes to a sudden end. When someone is giving a truthful account of an event, there are usually 3 parts: an introduction, main event, and epilogue.
Conclusion.
However, when the epilogue is very brief, such as Anna's, this can be a red flag for deception.
Oh, that, and she just goes, that's it.
For a long moment, the detectives observe her, and she looks directly at them as though trying to ascertain whether they believe her story or not. It seems pretty clear that they do not. Anna's story seems to be the only source investigators have about what happened once Stefan arrived in his apartment complex, as there were no other witnesses. Or were there?
Sometime early that morning, June the 9th, you were asleep in your apartment and you heard a noise. Is that correct?
Yes.
Describe that noise that you heard.
So it was a noise loud enough to wake me. I'm not sure exactly what the noise was that woke me, but after I was awake, it was a noise that indicated a large object was being knocked against the wall or against the floor. Because I felt the wall vibrate at one point.
Somebody just brought out the table from underneath the mat.
And I also heard doors slam.
Okay. Could you tell which direction it was coming from?
Yes, I could tell. Initially, I wasn't aware because I was still sleepy.
Okay.
But once I woken up, I was aware it was coming from behind me, which is the apartment that we're speaking of.
Mr. Anderson's apartment? Okay.
Yes.
This could be a reference to Anna going into the bathroom and closing the door behind her. However, the loud slam would seem to indicate that she wasn't as calm as she made herself out to be.
And then he just
if you believe this motherfucker was calm to begin with, I think you're just insane.
And I came back out.
She looks like a calm type.
And he was just really serious and had this
She
weird
also
look on his
murdered a
face.
human
And I'm
being.
like, okay, what's wrong?
Did you hear anybody
She was just trying to
yelling,
fulfill a shoe
screaming?
Yeah, you're right.
I heard a man yell.
She said, I don't know what way he'd
I
want to
didn't
go
hear
out.
screams, but I did hear a yell. It was a very loud yell.
That's how I
as
think I'm
if
gonna die,
he was
Steven.
yelling at
To high
someone
heel,
else
bro.
or something else.
Good way to go out.
And I heard a
Steven's
door
gonna put finish
slam,
confirmed.
and then I heard some muffled yelling at that point, and a few more noises, and then it got quiet. Yeah.
Do you remember about what time it was that you were woken up?
I know exactly. It was 2:13 because I don't like
Whoa.
getting woken up in the mornings, very early in the morning. So I
Whoa.
typically
It was
the
her the
first
whole time.
response is to look at the clock, and I remember 2:13 a.m. exactly.
So, from what you have stated, that 2:13 is when you heard the loud bump.
2:13 is
approaching?
is when I first woke up. Mhm.
Okay.
This is interesting. Carly seems very certain of the time, stating that the argument between the two took place at 2:13 a.m. The 911 call came in at 3:41 a.m.
Oh,
Even if she was off
that's a
by an
long
hour
time.
and it was actually 3:13, there's still a long gap between when the incident began and when Anna made the 911 call. Reports from the crime scene indicated that a bar stool was moved toward the body, disturbing the blood on the carpet. This is just speculation, but could Anna have sat on this stool watching Stefan die? Perhaps she was contemplating what story she would tell the police before she
Yikes.
called 911. The explanation remains a mystery, but it seems unlikely that Anna rushed to his aid as she claimed, and that she was unaware that he was deceased when she entered the interrogation room.
How long did this yelling or this noise go on for?
Only for a few minutes. It wasn't very long at all.
Okay. Few minutes, 2 to 3 minutes, 5
2
to
to
7
3.
minutes?
2 to 3.
Oh, 2
Yeah.
to 3 minutes.
Mhm.
Okay, then it got real quiet.
Yes, it got very quiet. It was
Okay.
like very quiet after that.
Okay.
A few minutes and then silence. At that point, had the atrocious act
wonder why it
already
got
been
silent all of a
committed,
sudden.
or was it yet to come? If it took place later,
She
one
calmed
would
down,
think
remember?
that Carly would hear such a violent struggle, especially as Anna depicted the scene. If it did take place while she was awake, why would she not have heard either of them scream? Carly mentioned that the muffled voice she heard was a man. Perhaps Stefan was, in fact, the one who went into the bathroom. Did Anna perhaps catch him in a surprise attack when he came out before he had time to scream? Anna is the only one who can tell for sure, and her side of the story is now told. The detectives depart, leaving Anna alone in the room for over a half hour, during which she remains
You think she gets
mostly
convicted?
motionless, her hands resting in her lap, a somber look on her face. Based upon the evidence and blood spatter at the scene, officials suggested that the fatal argument had begun in the living room, not the hallway. Crime scene evidence showed that recently the sofa and the coffee table had both been moved, possibly during a struggle. While in this vicinity, they proposed that Anna had begun the assault, ripping chunks of hair from Stefan's head, which accounts for the tufts of hair on the couch and floor that were unsullied by blood. From there, Stefan likely backpedaled to the hallway, where she may have then taken up the shoe from its place near the wall and begun to strike him with it. Injuries to Stefan's arms and
Did you know
hands
she
were
was
likely
like-
defensive wounds as
You still got a shoe fetish? Bop! Bop! He's smacking on him.
he tried to fend her off. Taking several solid blows, officials deduced that Stefan fell and Anna followed him down, straddling him and continuing the assault. Evidence showed that the vast majority of injuries occurred while he was
Jeez.
prone. By the time the detectives re-enter the room, Anna has fallen into a slump with her arms crossed tight under her chest, both hands hidden from view with her head down. This is a very passive
Yeah, she
and
knows the
protective
fucking jig's
stance. It's likely at this point she has realized that she didn't win anyone over and can expect to be charged. When they leave, a crew arrives and has her remove the cover-up so they can take photographs. Anna is then asked to remove the pants as part of the evidence collection process. Notice that she seems to have no qualms about interacting with the bloody clothing now, which she previously claimed made her sick. She even checks all the pockets and neatly folds them before handing them over. Finally, an officer turns to cuff her, and they lead her away to be charged with Stefan's murder and arrested. As Anna's defense team prepared their self-defense case for trial, the media got wind of the unusual murder weapon and became intrigued. The case blew up, and the press dubbed Anna the Stiletto Killer.
The Stiletto
The
Killer.
prosecution showed torrid images of the crime scene, indicating that Anna's actions went far beyond what would be necessary for self-defense.
Yeah, she hit him too many
The
times.
defense team put Anna on the stand, where she began a 6-hour testimony, rehashing the story she told investigators. Much like the
6
interview
hours?
itself, she constantly
time.
digressed, and her lawyer, who had beseeched her to keep her story short and simple, had to continually steer her back on topic. After less than 2 hours deliberation, the jury found Anna guilty of murder, and she was handed the maximum punishment, life in prison. She will not be eligible for parole until she is 75 years old.
There's Russell.
See, there's Russell.
That's kind of slow. I want like a small, quick one.
You could do that one with the kid or whatever that put it all on fucking YouTube.
Let me see. Hold on.
Just read real fucking weird. He's got a Danny Phantom fetish.
Dude, I can only see this one. This was 5 days ago.
What is it?
When the suspect is smarter than the detective.
I saw one like that recently, but it was fucking DaBaby.
When police discovered the most gruesome murder they had ever come across in the small town of Clyde, Ohio, one detective in particular was determined to track down the depraved killer. However, the ghastly scene would not be the only shocking revelation in a case plagued by police corruption, where it seemed that an unhinged obsession placed blame on a group of innocent suspects, all while overlooking the monster hiding in plain sight, eventually landing a detective behind bars. The following interviews and interrogations have never been seen or heard before. They've been analyzed by a qualified team, including a licensed attorney, a licensed clinical psychologist, a former licensed professional counselor, and a licensed professional counselor.
Fremont Police, do you have an emergency?
Hi, I'll be over there in about 10 minutes to give you information about the woman that was murdered over there in Clyde.
Heather Bogle was a devoted young mother
I'll be here in a minute.
graveyard shift at the local Whirlpool factory to support her 5-year-old daughter. It was a means to an end, as she was also pursuing a career in nursing in order to better support herself and her little girl. On April 9, 2015, surveillance footage captured Heather leaving the Clyde facility at 6:17 a.m. No one could have ever imagined that this would be the last time Heather would be seen alive. The crime itself was unthinkable, but even more mind-blowing was the tangled web of deception that would be unraveled during the course of the investigation. It was the type of case where nothing was as it appeared to be. Heather had a history of depression. Just 2 years prior, she'd allegedly attempted to take her own life and was prescribed the drug lamotrigine. Knowing this, after she went missing, her mother feared that another attempt may have been made, and a frantic search quickly ensued. It would only be one day before Heather's loved one's worst fears were confirmed. On April 10th, police located Heather's vehicle outside the Somerton Apartments on Hickory Street in Clyde, Ohio, prompting officers to believe that she might have been inside of the complex. However, they quickly learned that this was sadly not the case. They never anticipated that while searching Heather's car, they would open the trunk to find the missing woman's lifeless body resting inside. Authorities were barely able to stomach the horrendous wounds that Heather had endured, including various bruises and marks among her legs, arms, and face, indicating that someone had mercilessly beaten her. Not only this, but shockingly, her hair had been cut off at the scalp, and her fingernails were shaven all the way down to the cuticles. She had marks around her wrists and ankles, signifying that she'd been bound and tied. Ultimately, her cause of death was determined to be 2 gunshots to her back, which punctured vital organs in her chest. Defensive wounds found on Heather's hands told investigators that, despite the horrific attack, she fought for every last second of her life. Along with this, it was determined that her Galaxy Samsung cell phone, purse, a set of keys, and Whirlpool work shirt were all missing. The police, too stunned to comprehend the horrific sight before them, were now on a manhunt for the mysterious killer. But, unbeknownst to them, their window of time was closing by the second. Still, they had a lead. Heather had been facing a rather tumultuous season in her life. She was in the middle of a devastating breakup with an ex-girlfriend, Carmela Badillo, and the relationship hadn't necessarily ended on good terms. Both of the women had met during their time at Whirlpool, and they officially began dating in 2014. Throughout the romance, the couple would often fight over various subjects, but At the forefront were Heather's supposed allegations of infidelity against Carmela. It wasn't long before their issues would create a permanent rift between the two, and the year-long relationship would come to an end just 3 days before Heather's disappearance. In texts recovered through Heather's phone company on April 8th, the fury between the two was clear. In one message, Carmela stated, "Last night wasn't something small, Heather. I have to make appointments with a cardiologist and was doing various tests all night. I thank God for my mom being there. She's the only one who will ever have my back and care about me. I would have never not been by your side. I don't ever in this lifetime want to speak to you again. Goodbye."
Damn.
Apparently, Carmela had faced an unexpected illness the previous night and requested that Heather come to her aid, even though they'd been broken up. But seeing as she had a shift to attend, Heather was unable to make it. In response, Heather wrote, "I had your back. I couldn't lose my job. I'm already so far behind in bills, it's ridiculous. And I have nobody to help me out or even be here for me. And you kept pushing away. I wanted to be there for you. I honestly did and still do. But I understand I cannot know what is going on if you do not talk to me. But please do continue to take everything out on me." Following the breakup, Heather also texted her friend Jerry Avalos on April 8th, saying, "I deactivated Facebook and all other social media. Literally never talked to my friends, couldn't even have a friend. She wouldn't allow it." It's a clear red flag when a partner tries to control who the other person can talk to or be friends with. It's important to remember that Heather was upset about the breakup when she sent this message, and it's possible that Carmela has a very different viewpoint on their relationship. When officers recovered Heather's body, they also discovered a shocking handwritten letter in the vehicle. It was one of passion and rage, each sentence more intense than the last. Unfortunately, it's unknown what was written, but every single word had been directed at Heather, almost as if they wanted to hurt her. To no surprise, the penman had been none other than her scorned ex-girlfriend. But this wasn't the only relationship that seemed to be falling apart for Heather, as additional texts showcased an obscene message from her brother, Josh Fiesel. Heather had recently failed one of her nursing exams, and Josh added to the upsetting occasion. He wrote, "Too stupid to pass the LPN exam," and called her a demeaning name. He also texted, "Low expectations of yourself, typical trash like your mom and dad." Josh's cruelty towards Heather was no secret to their friends and family, but could he have gone so far as to take her life? Well, the lead detective on the case, Sean O'Connell, had his eyes set on uncovering the answer to this very question. However, as we will soon come to learn, his methods were far from the ordinary. Still, no one could have predicted the scandal that was about to unravel. Despite the varying fights with Carmela and Josh, it wouldn't take long before they were dismissed as potential suspects. As the hunt for the killer continued, Detective O'Connell quickly located a new person of interest. Tenants had reportedly told the detective that they had seen Heather frequently visiting Building 240 of the Somerton apartments, well before her body was found in the parking lot. It was believed that she would allegedly purchase marijuana from an unknown resident of the complex. When this information was discovered, Detective O'Connell began to dig and eventually found his new lead suspect, 24-year-old Kiona Bohr, thanks to a complaint filed against her by another occupant. It alleged that the scent of marijuana was emanating from her apartment. Kiona, a mother of two, was supposedly very nervous while speaking with police after Heather's body was discovered, and Detective O'Connell found this to be rather odd. Though she denied any involvement, O'Connell wasn't convinced. Despite this, following her discussion with the authorities, Kiona wrote a series of strange Facebook posts, especially under the given circumstances. "I can't believe this just happened," and "doing 8 to 10 years for murder and pleading insanity" could be seen amongst her account, only furthering the detective's suspicions. Not only this, but according to 2 residents of the Somerton apartments, Kiona was allegedly seen wearing the same red Mickey Mouse t-shirt that Heather's body had been dressed in, well before the tragic event. And lastly, Kiona had been romantically involved with 39-year-old Julian Kaiser, who Detective O'Connell helped to put behind bars for 10 years on a first drug offense. It seemed that the evidence against Kiona was beginning to mount. 4 days after Heather's body was recovered, Kiona was interviewed by Detective O'Connell, and as you're about to see, the tension in the room was so thick it could have been cut with a knife.
Do you know that name by chance, Heather Bogle?
I don't even know who she is. The only time I heard of her was when the police knocked on the door, and then I didn't even know who she was. I was like, I don't know her. And then I went inside and got on my Facebook, and I seen her on Facebook.
Obviously, for one reason or another, her vehicle ends up at the Hickory Street Apartments parked in front of your building 240. The question is, why did it end up there? So we've talked to a lot of people, and we are comfortable to say that Heather has been known.
Dude, Sarge, I think I had a big day on the old betting.
How so?
Wait, wasn't I supposed to stop?
40.
Oh, never mind. I
We
stopped
feel
actually.
comfortable that she was voluntarily
Alrighty.
there, probably on
Man
Thursday
just sold himself
last
out.
week.
Fucking eyes better, bro.
I took a break. I took like a couple.
She was there.
couple
and then
games
the
off.
vehicle
Hours?
left, and the vehicle come back, and then the vehicle leaves, and then it finally comes back for the
just a hobby.
last time on Friday morning.
Side hustle, I think, is a better word.
1:30. Okay.
So why am I here, though?
And I'm getting to that point. It's my understanding that Heather likes to smoke some weed. Okay, she does it on probably on a somewhat of a regular basis. She has to buy it from somebody. We know that we've had complaints
That you're the one.
on your particular apartment in reference the odor of marijuana coming from it from one time or another that led to the police knocking on your door and trying to figure out.
Police have never came to my door. If the police came to my door, they better have a report. The police never knocked on my door.
There is a police report.
They talked to me. They
There's a
spoke
police
to me.
report on March 18th. Without going back and looking at their police report, I'm not going to say that they talked to you or not, but I know there is a police report, and there are incidents reports with management pertaining to the smell of marijuana coming from your apartment.
So why hasn't anybody said anything to me previously?
I don't
My
know.
landlord, the
That's a
police.
good question. I guess
Real sketchy because yesterday a white man came up to me and asked me, were you the one that they had got in trouble for smoking weed? It was smelling like weed in the hallway? And I said, no, that wasn't me. I don't even smoke weed. And he said, well, I do every now and then, whoop whoop, trying to get me to say something. So it was probably him that tried to call y'all. This is so possible. I mean, this is crazy.
She's been framed.
Like, y'all just raided my house.
That's crazy.
I was at a nursing home. I'm a single mom with 2 kids. Like, this is crazy.
I understand.
Kiona comes across as quite self-assured. When someone is telling the truth, they may appear more confident because they know the facts are on their side. The detective
I
should
got
have
$3
built
in
some kind of
blackjack and see how much I can
relationship
make out
with
of
her
it.
prior to starting into questions about Heather.
I never have any luck on blackjack.
Essentially, what he has done here is without
If you're on DraftKings, you got to play the Rocket game, bro. That thing's.
any evidence whatsoever.
Oh, I know what
he
you're
is
talking
launched
about.
into an interrogation.
Where you pick where
rather
like
than
the
conduct
multiplier.
an actual interview first.
That game's scary.
It's my understanding, and another thing that kind of supports what we're looking at is the idea that
Dude, I had one today. I had like a $5 free bet on that Rocket game or whatever. Dude, guess what the multiplier got up to?
What?
44.8.
Did you hit it?
No, I literally bailed like I bailed at like 2, I think. But like if somebody would have rode that all the way, you could have put in $10 and won a $440 bet.
you are or have dated a guy from Mississippi that used to work at Whirlpool, correct?
Who would say that?
Well,
I never dated anybody. Just because I talked to
okay.
somebody.
I never
like-
dated nobody.
So you talked to somebody.
Stop gambling. I'm not gambling. It was free. It was free money.
That's what we all say,
They're
bro.
not even here. They've been left months and months and months ago. So
Okay, what's months and months and months ago?
It's gambling if
months
you're
ago,
using
when they went home, we was
real
never
money.
dating.
Who is the
It was
two
free.
guys
It was a free
that
bet.
keep coming and going out of your apartment?
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
How does it matter?
Fight me, Jack!
Personal business. I don't
Fight
have any.
me!
I don't
Your
know this
personal
girl.
business is
Yo,
not
I just
becoming
run.
our
I just
business.
use a
Okay,
slot
so who I
machine.
sleep with is y'all
160 cents,
business.
bro.
Like, I mean, that's what I do. That's
dude.
all I'm doing.
What are you buying me for dinner?
Correct.
So that doesn't have anything to do with this. That's what I'm saying. That
Well,
don't.
these are the questions that we're going to ask, and these are the questions we're asking.
Okay, well, I mean, if I need a lawyer, I can
Jack
get a
said
lawyer.
he'll fight
but I
me. What's the
don't-
money line on
I
that?
mean, I'm just
What's the
saying.
money line on
What
that,
is it?
Starcher?
On what?
Jack said he'll fight me.
We're investigating a homicide.
Jack?
If we
Wait, which
can tie
Jack?
your apartment into a homicide
You can't
investigation.
Jack,
tie
right in
my
the chat.
apartment.
Maybe not. I
know you can't. I don't even know
You're
this
in
girl,
pain?
so I know for
That's
100%
actually kind of scary. I retract
Apparently,
my
two
statement. I
different
won't fight.
men had visited Kiona at her
How am I supposed to
apartment
beat you
on
if you
various
like pain?
occasions in the recent past. Omar Satchel and Kari Jeffrey.
That's actually
It
W.
wasn't long before Detective O'Connor
Omar,
considered
what's
them
his name,
additional
Satchel?
suspects in Heather's gruesome murder. And soon, we will see exactly why that was.
But this is the thing. That's why we're asking. That's why we're asking the questions. And if
Right, but you guys just raided my apartment. You know, yesterday when I went to my house and got that paper, my neighbors ran for me. Like, I'm out here killing people. Like, y'all just ruined my life over this because I smoked some weed. Like, this crazy.
But you didn't smoke weed.
I kind of feel bad
we
for
had
her.
probable cause to search your apartment.
Okay, that's fine, but I'm just saying, like, that's... I never seen this girl in my life. Don't know this
Maybe
girl.
you
nothing.
have, but maybe those who you associate yourself with have.
Maybe people they associate themselves with. Did you
Get a
talk
rank
to
for
the previous...
tomorrow, or get a 6-star Nexus. Probably the rank 4, right?
Why are you being so reluctant?
Yeah, Steven, I'm sorry, but I'm gonna have to either pick Marvel or sports betting because I'm gonna end up spending money on both of them if I play both. So
Dude, here's the bad thing about sports betting, and you probably already just came to it. I don't know, but like at some point, like you don't want to spend money on stuff because you're like, I can't get money back.
what do you mean?
Well, it's like I don't know. It's like Marvel. It's like why would you play Marvel when you could just gamble in sports and get money for it? Like
Like,
Yeah,
I think I'm
like to me,
But you can also
sounds like you
lose
withholding
money.
information.
Nah, bitch, we don't
Don't gamble.
This is ridiculous.
There is
Nah,
an
we don't
important
lose out here.
distinction here with Kiona talking about getting a lawyer.
Listening to gambling
she
addicts.
didn't unequivocally ask
Dude,
to
I'm
speak
not.
with
I'm
a
not an
lawyer,
addict.
which is
Starcher
why the
though.
officer
Starcher be
continued
tweaking.
talking to her.
What do you
if
mean?
this case were to go
Starcher's
to
a
trial,
tweak, bro. He's a
Kiona's
gambling
attorneys
addict.
could have argued that this should have been
Motherfucker, I'm
interpreted as a
positive.
I could
request.
literally delete it at any moment, and I would be completely fine until the next round.
But it's not incumbent upon police to clarify statements.
That might be
and
the
they don't
biggest
have to
bullshit
say
thing I've
the
ever
interrogation
heard.
if a suspect makes
It's
an
a hobby.
ambiguous
It's fun.
statement about
It's
requesting
like
counsel.
it's like shooting
This means that
basketball.
the burden of clearly
Except
invoking the
my
right to
basketball
rest
could
with
lose
the
me,
suspect.
Drax's
It's
next
also
food.
important to note that though Kiona is being questioned by
Yeah, you want to talk about gambling addict? Look at Z-Wayne in chat.
officers, she was free to leave at any time and was neither detained nor under arrest,
There's a fee.
which means that the Miranda requirements are not in play here. It also appears that the
Dude,
officer
I just want to see some crazy people. What's going on here? Why are we talking about
motion to
Miranda
control
and
him.
weed?
It's apparent he did little to build rapport with Kiona.
I'm
and a
telling you, bro, you
major
should have watched
example
It
of
ain't
this
gambling
is
if
by
all you do
accusing
is
her
win.
of having
Quote
something
it.
to hide.
Steven, if you want to
The
see a
most
genuinely
important aspect
psychopathic
of
person,
Reed
that
is to
school shooting one is
effectively have
insane.
officers be viewed as
No, we're just gonna watch this
advocates,
one.
possibly
We're already
even
invested into
allies,
it.
rather than
I'll watch
as
that one next time. You just gotta. You already sent it to me.
adversaries.
I think so.
The officer should have
I just want you to know
engaged
he
in
thinks that he's a
asking more
cartoon character.
open-ended questions,
No.
rather than
Yes,
throwing multiple
genuinely, he thinks he is a
accusations
cartoon
at
character.
Kiona.
Jack, what are you
By
addicted
failing
to? What's
to
your addiction?
literally
it's not
be
like it's an addiction
curious
for
and
us.
invite Kiona to tell her story. The officer instead made judgments which
We're
shut
about to turn
down further
Undead
discourse
Steve's chat into
and
a
didn't do
to
anything to win her
rehabilitation.
over. It's not
Bro, let's
uncommon
just
to
run-
see
let's just run an
officers
underground
become
gambling
frustrated during an interview or interrogation for a number of reasons.
Down, bro?
However, a much
What'd
better
you say?
We'll run an underground gambling ring on these fucking JCS
so
videos,
down.
bro.
strategy is to show the suspect a way out of the mess
My
they
name is
find
Steven,
themselves in.
and I do not have any
This
addictions.
way out is
Fuck you
generally
guys. Have a
couched
good-
as the truth will set you free. Most of the time, it
That's
won't
me.
set them physically free, but it can be a means to unload a burden via telling officers the truth.
I don't think I'm addicted, but it
In these
has genuinely made me
circumstances,
money.
Officers
I'm not
And it feels
addicted.
good.
I know for a fact I'm not addicted, but I could see how people get so addicted.
emphasize remaining open.
My
and
buddy at school
non-accusatory,
was saying that his
even when
girlfriend that he used to
presenting
have,
facts that
after they broke
contradict
up,
previous
she ended up
statements.
mortgaging her whole entire
This
house to
allows the
gamble.
conversation to continue.
Sean just ruined my life for some little.
Dude, I'll be honest. This is how I know it could be so.
There's no
addicting.
shot you're about to say that I'm about to mortgage my house.
No, this is how I know it could be. It could be so addicting, right? I was playing blackjack, right? I was telling Zach this foolproof plan I had, right?
Okay.
To like not lose money no matter what, right?
Okay, that's never a smart idea, but okay.
And I was convinced, and then it happened. I was like, ah! So basically, the plan was you start off like with like $20. Jack, just close your ears. I'm not an addict. This is how I realized like I ain't doing that. So I start with like $20, right? And I would just bet like $1 or $2, right?
You start with $2 bets and you work up to $5.
So look, if I win, I would try to go up in increments of 5 total. If I win, you try to get to the next 5. So you got to try to get.
Yeah, for sure.
Now, if you lose, if you get down to like, let's say I lose. Oh, let's just go with a scenario where I just keep losing. I lose the first $1, whatever, so I'm down to 19. Then I do another $1 to try to get the $1 back. And then let's say, just by chance, I lose that one. Now I'm down $2. Well, now I'll do $2 to try to get the $2 back.
And then I would go until I got to 15.
Well, I lost 6 straight! So I was doing like 15 to try to get my 15 back.
Dude, you're so dumb, bro.
Because at some point I was like,
you gotta know when to stop, bro.
But at some point, if you're just gonna keep losing, at some point you'll win it back. Right?
No, that's not how that works, bro.
I mean, but I
you
don't
got
know
it, bro. You
anything
gotta
about
take
it,
your
but
W's and you
this
gotta
is
take
what
your
I'm-
L's.
That's why I'm never going to a
proud.
casino.
Well, you do because you're
Listen,
not telling us who
you just gotta know
your
when to quit.
boyfriends are.
I don't have boyfriends.
Then who are the guys that keep coming?
Don't worry, Zach. I already got the D-backs on the phone. I told him to lock it in.
I don't know.
It does matter because we're talking about a homicide.
I mean, am I being charged with something? Am I getting arrested?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Okay, then.
Ooh, got him.
I mean, I can get a lawyer and come back.
If you want to get a lawyer, go get a lawyer. That just tells me you got something to hide.
I don't have anything to hide, but I know how y'all
you
are.
feel the need. Yo, how are we?
Hey,
Because we got your boyfriend,
officer,
father,
this officer got some attitude.
baby with a bunch of dope, and he's
Right.
been a doper for his whole entire life.
Okay.
We're in
I'm not addicted.
So that's why you raided my house.
No, that's not why.
Hobby.
Because you had marijuana in your house.
But you didn't know that.
Dude, this
we
officer
did. We had
is
reason to believe it.
You had reason to believe that because somebody said that.
We had probable cause.
Because someone said they smelled odor, never been in my house, never talked to me. The police didn't come to my door and see if there was marijuana.
Your
odor coming out
association
my
with
house.
Julian Kaiser when
He's
you were
been in
living
prison
there?
for how long?
I don't care. You're still
It doesn't-
associated
so
with
I'm
Julian.
associated with the
All
somebody
right.
that's
You
in
know what?
prison.
Do you want to talk or not?
I don't want to talk.
Okay. Have a good day.
Thank you, sir.
You're now involved in a homicide investigation.
Great day.
Detectives may be
Got him!
misinterpreting
Congratulations,
Kiona's
bitch.
reluctance
You
to
made
share
it.
the names of the two men.
Zach, what was
She's
your
likely
parlay?
trying to protect her friends,
Look at
but that
dude,
does
Zach's
not
just like
mean they are guilty. It's also
parlaying it up
extremely
today.
manipulative for
I've
the
got a parlay
detective
going
to
right
tell
now.
her that by
I
asking
don't.
for a lawyer,
I'm not addicted though.
she had
I
something
don't
to
have a parlay. I
hide.
have 2
When in
parlays.
actuality, she
Yeah!
was just irritated that she was making a smart decision for herself.
I don't know if it counts, but I have a horrible habit of either eating my own skin or biting someone else. Okay, that might be. You might want to get that look because you might end up like the last girl that took a chunk out of the dude's cheek.
And then hit him in the head with a fucking shoe and killed him.
Nonetheless, the unrelenting pressure from the detectives left all parties in a state of frustration. But Kiona was living a real-life nightmare.
Princess Kiona?
Suspected of murder and
In
was
Shrek?
now in a fight for her life. After the
fuck up,
troubling
Steve.
interview, authorities were looking into the possibility of charging 3 people with
Just
the
like
crime.
biting?
As they
I bite my
began to
nails pretty
investigate
bad.
a-
You start you bite your nails, bro? I can't
I
stop
bite
biting.
my nails and I bite the inside of my cheek.
I don't do that.
Omar and Kairi.
I bite my toenails
Omar,
too.
who had previously served prison
I'm
time,
playing. I don't think
You lost me.
I'm joking,
Detectives
guys.
allegedly
I'm
sold
joking.
marijuana to Heather, as
He
reported
said I'm joking.
by O'Connell, although this has never been confirmed.
Yeah, you lost me on the
When
fucking
police
toenails,
finally
bro. You
spoke with
lost me.
Omar, he supposedly admitted to
It
having
was a
stolen
joke!
a .380 caliber firearm from his fiancée, but claimed to have sold the gun to
Or
a
was
resident
it?
living in Michigan not long after. Along with this, authorities allegedly found him to be in possession of unidentified pills and a pocket knife with a blonde strand of hair
I mean,
attached.
just had some Advil,
In
bro.
an
He had a
interview
headache.
with the Fremont News Messenger, Omar adamantly denied that he had ever met or known Heather.
Where's the crazy guy come
bravely
in?
pleading for his innocence. In a shocking quote, he described
need
his
some proof
encounter
on
with
all that?
Detective O'Connell by saying that
I pick
Sean
them,
O'Connell
but like I don't
told
bite
me,
them.
I know it's not you, but I'll make it you.
I do. I usually use Clippers though. I'm a Clippers fan, so I use Clippers.
Of course, the detective would deny having ever uttered the threat, but the truth of the matter
But
remains.
occasionally,
up
like
in
I'll
the
just
air.
pick at him. I'll be like,
Be that as it
take my
may,
nails and I'll be like,
later actions by O'Connell that you'll soon learn of might have you drawing your own conclusions. Omar also stated that during
So
the
who
days of
outsmarts the
April
cop?
8th through the 10th,
That's all
when
I'm trying to
Heather was
figure out.
missing, he was residing at the Days Inn Hotel. At the
Oh,
time
please
of
tell me it's
Heather's
this cop that
murder,
was
he
talking
claimed
shit
to
that
have been
gets
visiting
outsmarted. That
3
shit would be
separate
cool.
bars in the Fremont area. However, it has also been reported that he was actually hiding at Kiona's apartment in an attempt to evade an arrest warrant. Despite this, O'Connell was still extremely skeptical and supposedly insinuated that Omar could have still traveled from the various locations to commit the crime. Still, his focus shifted to his final suspect, 26-year-old Kairi. As a supposed
Kairi
friend
Irving?
of Omar's, Kairi was just as
Crazy.
much on Detective
Steven.
O'Connell's radar, and he would do anything to prove their guilt. According to a source, Kairi was apparently seen throwing a suspicious black
Kairi
bag
got
into
that
a river
bag.
on April 10th, 2015. presumably containing a firearm.
Personally, I would never let
O'Connell
myself
asserted
be killed
that
like
the
that.
supposed
That's what
gun
I'm
was
saying.
used in a
Ain't no way I'm
homicide.
going like that. The only way I'm going out is by a heel to the head.
Potentially Heather's, and
I thought you were
quickly
going out in
released
the
a
middle
full
of a fucking
dive team to
gunfight in
recover
the
the
Wild
weapon.
Wild West. What
But
happened
to
to
O'Connell's
that?
dismay, the search would prove
might
to
have.
be unsuccessful. Claiming that Kiona, Omar, and Kayri were likely the murderers, the detective was still missing one important piece of information.
The motive.
The motive. Why would any of them want
For
to
real?
hurt Heather, let alone kill her? Not even O'Connell could say, but suddenly, in the blink of an eye, another disappointment abruptly struck the desperate detective.
Uh-oh.
And it would send the case in an entirely different direction. Underneath Heather's fingernails was a small amount of DNA. The results were shocking,
Steve would have
concluding
bit that
that
shit
neither
out real quick.
Kiona, Omar, or Kayri had come back as a positive match. In an instant, their names were cleared. At least, that's what should have happened.
Why were they cleared?
DNA, I think.
Oh, like their DNA wasn't?
Instead, O'Connell stuck to his original claims, not stopping to even ponder the possibility that he might have been wrong. But his delusions would only lead him further away from the actual killer.
O'Connell.
This just
O'Connell
goes
had
to
his
show how
mindset on.
detectives can sometimes develop tunnel vision
Yeah,
and
you gotta
narrow in
stop
on a
that.
suspect while ignoring other possibilities despite sufficient evidence. O'Connell had already spent a lot of time on the premise that Kiona, Omar, and Kayri were involved in Heather's death.
Bro, people who
He may
don't
have
wear
been afraid
gloves
that if he
when they
admitted his
dispose
mistake,
bodies, bro.
he would look incompetent to both the public and to other members of law enforcement. In addition,
the germs,
he
or
was
what are you talking
likely
about?
experiencing
Yeah,
a
dude.
psychological
Like, you can catch
principle
diseases
known
from
as
that stuff.
confirmation bias. This means that people are more likely to accept information that supports what they already believe, and on the other hand, may discount information that doesn't align with those beliefs. With this in mind, just over a year later, Kiona is demanding answers.
I just want to know when y'all are going to tell them that I'm not involved in this and I can clear my.
She says, you know, that her DNA won't come back. It's at what point do we say?
What point are you going to tell the public that I'm not crazy?
Shit, what the
For a
fuck you
year,
gonna do to
the
me?
detective would supposedly harass Kiona, frequenting her place of work with additional officers.
Rip.
At one point, he apparently gathered Kiona's co-workers for a meeting, although the subject of the matter has never been reported. It wouldn't be too long before the single mother found herself out of work while struggling to make ends meet.
Way to go, O'Connell.
Every job interview for a new position was to no avail, and it seemed that O'Connell was never going to let her out of his grasp.
Dang,
These were
this guy was
likely acts
obsessed
of
with her.
intimidation on O'Connell's part,
Come
which
on,
is
O'Connell.
a form of manipulation. He may have believed that he could scare Kiona into confessing, which would have been coercion. Yet, after securing a lawyer, Kiona was able to restrict her
That officer looks like the type of guy to be racist uncle at the Thanksgiving dinner party.
contact
Honestly,
with the detective,
kinda agree.
but that wouldn't stop O'Connell from allegedly speaking with her acquaintances.
I ain't trying to assume, but
in
I'm
an interview with the
trying to assume.
Sandusky Register, Kiona recalled a time when she traveled to her local tattoo artist and was startled to learn that after she left the establishment, Detective O'Connell had allegedly made his way in to speak with the artist. Other accounts recall that the detective apparently had residents of the Somerton apartments act as informants for the investigation,
Yikes, he
hoping
got
to
fired.
gain more details on Kiona.
I'm not here to say that you did do it, and I'm not here to say that you didn't do it.
Okay, but I know for a fact that you guys got my DNA back and there's no matches. I know for a fact that you guys went through my phone record, there's no matches. I know for a fact that y'all been looking at my Facebook, there's nothing. I know that.
Kiona's suspicious Facebook
She knows
posts,
it all.
as previously described, had actually been in response to Julian's prison sentence. And not only this, but she had never been in possession of the Mickey Mouse shirt
innocent.
found on Heather.
Oh.
Regardless of these revelations, the detective pressed on.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, it is what it is. If you're not
It is
involved,
what it
you're not
is.
involved.
Okay, so when you gonna clear me though, because me and my kids
When we're comfortable to be able to say for sure that it's not you.
This reign of terror would eventually come crashing down. In an attempt to seek an indictment, O'Connell had written a report to the prosecution,
He probably still thinks
but
it's her.
failed to include that the DNA found on Heather did not match any of the three suspects. Along with this, he refrained from giving all of his case files to the county prosecutor and dismissed every other lead,
Oh, dude, he
besides
got
those
fired.
relating to the trio.
Buddy fucked up
He even
bad.
ignored a critical
100%
piece
fired.
of information sent in an email by a Whirlpool employee just 2 days after Heather was found.
Yeah, I feel like you could.
And by the way, I don't know if you have any suspects, but I know someone who works at Whirlpool that is very capable of doing that to a woman. This crucial lead would eventually become integral, but in his determination to convict Kiona, Omar, and Kayri, O'Connell did not even take it into consideration. However, this would not go unnoticed. Soon, O'Connell was caught giving a copy of the investigation report to an employee working for the Sandusky County Department of Job and Family
Just playground arguments with real consequences. No,
Services, claiming that he wanted to gain their insight on a person of interest in the case. Once this was discovered by the sheriff, the detective was immediately placed on leave, but it only took a week to uncover the extent of his malpractice. As a result, the detective was quickly let go from his position and was facing an increasing amount of legal charges, which included misleading a public official and tampering with evidence. O'Connell had broken the law that he vowed to protect and was eventually sentenced to 2 years in prison. Although this would not be the end of the shocking corruption, seeing as how another scandal had just as quickly broken through the walls of this quiet and quaint little town. Sheriff Kyle Overmeyer, also working on Heather's case, had been caught stealing drugs from the drug boxes in northwestern Ohio.
Yeah, they all
Facing
messed
an
up.
ongoing opioid addiction, Kyle was sentenced to 4 years in prison in December of 2016. But during this time, he was able to sit down with authorities to give his side of the story on what happened with former Detective O'Connell.
And we'll get into more on Sean about what he did, but a lot of stuff was secret squirrel with him, and he did his own thing, and I entrusted in him as a detective, and because you can't do it all, you can't be a detective and a sheriff and wear all the hats.
He was dead set on Kiana Boer, and then he found out that Omar might have been out.
Was hiding out there. He was there that night supposedly, and there was a warrant for his arrest. And that's where it all unraveled, where he became obsessed.
Why is that?
I don't know.
See, now here's another thing I've been told.
Yeah.
That he had a personal vendetta against Kiana Boer.
Yeah, I can definitely see
Kyle
that.
gives a brief rundown on how O'Connell helped to imprison Kiona's ex-boyfriend Julian, and why that might have placed the single mother at the top of his suspect list in Heather's case.
Now, in speaking to Heather's family members and Carmela Badillo, they all indicated that the 3 people that provided Heather her drugs were, and then was the other. Oh, there's only 3. Nobody ever mentioned Kiana Boer.
Right.
So I don't know how he's getting in and going Kiana Boer, and he's making that up.
Right. And
correct?
Yes.
All the while, residents across the community were stumped when it came to who might have carried out such a gruesome crime. And some were inclined to leave their thoughts on the most popular social media platform, Facebook.
Twitter.
One user wrote a post insinuating that Carmela, Heather's ex-girlfriend, may actually be the one that authorities were looking for. The sad thing about this is just a few days after it happened, my brother worked with a guy who no longer works there with him, but he stopped over and told me his sister and Heather had a thing, and that she might have had something to do with it. I called O'Connell to report what I was told at the time, but nothing was done. Was Heather's ex-girlfriend the perpetrator who'd been hiding in plain sight? Or was there someone else sneakily going unnoticed?
Nah.
Still, others had their own opinions. One person even stated that he knew more about the situation than most. A lot of time and dedication was lost, and I have proof. I want it done right. I had to bring up a perfected parliament to do what I did and walk it through like a gentleman. Most eerie of all, this person was well aware that corruption was lurking. I trust very few when the problem goes all the way to the top. In addition to the online chatter, others took their concerns directly to authorities.
30 minutes left.
One account in particular stood out. Michael Abdu, a resident of Fremont, Ohio, was in a frantic rush to give a statement on an alleged conversation that had taken place at a nearby bar.
Fremont Police, do you have an emergency?
Hi, I'll be over
I got a self-report.
10 minutes to give you information about the,
Hey man, I was fixing lights, got off the pan, and there's a dead body beside me.
Michael claims that he met 3 men at the local bar, where one had allegedly explained to him that he ordered the hit on Heather.
Ooh.
Michael refers to this man as Mississippi. 2 other gentlemen had also been present, but he didn't know their names.
They informed me how they killed her in the residence and took her body and put it in the trunk of the car.
he said if you got any family, I suggest you do the right thing. I said, I don't understand what you're talking about. And then he said, I was the person that took care of the white girl over in Clyde. The black man said this.
What do you think?
And I said to him,
I think it's
what are
Cap.
you talking about? What do you mean you took care of the white girl over in Clyde? He said, I asked the two dudes inside, we took care of business. So I went and asked the two guys inside, hey, the dude said you guys took, I said Mississippi said you guys took care of those two, or took care of the girl over there in Clyde. He said, yeah, we gave that what she deserved. The one dude turned to the other guy and said, shut the fuck up. The other one then said,
Dude, these have been so clickbait, bro.
Whatever you gotta say, I'm cool.
I feel like I've been clickbait.
You know, don't go nowhere.
Like,
Michael,
where's the
clearly
smart
stunned
guy?
by the recent encounter,
smarter than the
provided
detective.
a new lead for the authorities. However, just as quickly,
The last
police
chick
were
wasn't
able
crazy
to conclude
enough.
that they'd reached a dead end
Okay,
yet
maybe-
again,
maybe she
due
was.
to the fact that his story couldn't be corroborated by other patrons of the bar. It was clear that from the onset of Heather's case, each and every day had been afflicted by injustice. Fortunately, that wouldn't last for long. The day had finally come where a new sheriff was in town, determined to track down the real killer with no time to
There's
waste.
a new sheriff in town.
Sheriff Chris Hilton quickly dismissed the previous suspects, along with Carmela, and soon enough, he'd also pinpointed exactly where Heather had been following her last shift at Whirlpool.
W
Through
detective.
her Gmail account, authorities were able to see her movements throughout the entire day of April 9th, thanks to the several electronic coordinates kept in Google's GPS function.
I didn't know that.
This indicated that around 6:30 in the morning, Heather had been at a trailer park home in the Emerald Estates lot, a little over a mile away from Whirlpool. She remained there for at least an hour before her phone had apparently been shut off. The residence was that of 44-year-old Daniel Myers, one of Heather's co-workers at Whirlpool. The authorities were able to speak with Daniel on May 24th, 2017, over 2 years after Heather's disappearance.
How you doing, Dan? Hey, Nick Katsopoulos with the Sheriff's Office. Would you be able to take a few minutes and talk to us? For what reason? Well, we're working a cold case homicide.
Do you still work for Whirlpool right now then? Yeah. Okay. Back then, what shift were you working? Midnights. Back then, did you tell them what this is in reference to?
I told him we're working an old homicide.
Come on, are you sure?
Thanks, Dan.
Thank you.
Sorry to wake you up. I feel bad.
We're just trying to, like I said, follow up on some leads and some other stuff that popped up. Did you know her at all?
Very, very little. Very little. Just
The officers have not mentioned Heather's name, yet Daniel is already aware of who they are speaking of.
very limited conversation. I guess if you want to know how long I knew her, maybe 3 months, but how long I talked to her, maybe a couple weeks. And you don't get long breaks at work.
Dude, yeah, for real. People are going to start becoming more intelligent killers with all these videos. They're going to know exactly what not to do.
So, it's like eat within 10 minutes for first break, and it was very limited chit-chat.
Sure. And just so we're on the same page of who we're talking about, right. Heather Bogle, right?
Right.
Okay. Did you work in the same area as her?
Yes.
Okay.
Daniel claims that he and Heather had never talked outside of work and primarily discussed their children while they were on their breaks at Whirlpool.
She was just a sweetheart. She was very concerned about her kid, worked hard. She was always sweeping whenever she wasn't doing it. She was. It was sad. I guess it's a little odd that you guys are.
Well, here's what
I know it's cold case, and you guys are just grasping at straws, trying.
We want to try our best,
right.
And a part of what we've been doing when we interview people, we've been collecting DNA buccal swabs. It's basically a Q-tip. This is a little thing, and then we're off on our way. Would you be Would you be all right with that?
There's no reason why I would have to.
Oh, you don't have to. No, this is part of...
If there's an issue, I'll get an attorney or something. I didn't know, really, the lady. Or
Dude,
like,
how to act suspicious 101. That's what these guys are in.
Yeah, I just need me a fucking attorney, you know.
So why do you gotta swab me?
Yeah, but
nobody's saying that. This is just part of being thorough in what we're doing.
I'll pass until there's some issues to where
What?
my attorney and see what he has to say. But I'm gonna pass on that.
The detective is trying to make Daniel more comfortable by mentioning how they ask everyone to provide a DNA test so that he will be more inclined to agree. And while every single person had supposedly agreed to the buccal swab, Daniel is the first to say no. But there was a good reason behind his unwillingness to provide a sample. 2 days later, authorities went knocking on his door once again.
We need to follow up a little bit more in regard to that.
All right.
Because you came off work that morning, right?
Right.
Okay. And there was nobody else in your trailer at that time.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
There was nobody else living but you at that time.
No.
And then Heather was down in the area.
Well, I don't know. How would I know that she's down?
Well, you're at the trailer and she's at the trailer. So that's what we need to get cleared up. And we know this.
She wasn't in my trailer.
Uh-oh.
There's no way she was in my trailer.
She was in your trailer.
Okay, well then you're...
So you're telling me this is called when the suspect is smarter than the detective? I've been lied
I have
to.
to show whatever that she was in.
I've been absolutely lied to.
In my trailer, Daniel ends with upward inflection, as though asking a question, not making a statement. The second time, he says it more forcefully. It's almost like he had to ask it as a question first, so he could repeat it to deny it. We know people struggle with outright lies, so this was likely a way to handle his nerves when deceiving the detective. Someone who is wrongfully accused of something is more likely to deny it using a firm tone of voice. An innocent person may even become a bit hostile. However, Daniel gives a quick and weak denial. And not only is his evasive response more than a little worrisome, but Daniel was also hiding a mountain of disturbing secrets, and his true atrocities were about to be revealed.
Because you knew...
I just don't know what...
But you know Heather better than what you're telling us.
No, I did not know Heather that well. I didn't. There is no way. I don't know anything about her. Just the basic conversation that we had when we sat for a very limited break. That's all it was.
You know what her car looked like, right?
Yeah, I knew what it looked like. No, I didn't know what it looked like. I knew from the news, from online, Facebook. I mean, there's pictures from that's on the Facebook about the...
But he's smarter than the detectives? That's crazy.
Car, going by Miller's, there was a vision of a car. I mean, it's common knowledge. I mean, even the news.
It's common knowledge.
Her vehicle, but I've never seen her vehicle personally.
We didn't draw your name out of a hat and show up at your door.
Okay.
So we're here asking you to help yourself out. Let us know what happened.
Detectives are taught to never reveal to suspects what they know. And in addition, they want to give off the impression that they know more than they do. This accomplishes multiple things. For one, it allows officers to catch suspects in a lie. And two, suspects are left wondering how much police know. They may believe that police do know more than they actually do, which makes it more likely that they will let something slip. The officers further explain to Daniel that they are well aware of his
It's a guilty smile right there.
But they want to hear from him just how that came to be.
I have no room to talk, actually.
What exactly happened on that fateful day?
She was never at your trailer before?
No.
Never?
No.
Okay.
There's nothing for me to tell you.
Daniel maintains that Heather was never at his trailer.
When does he
However,
outsmart
he
him?
does give some information relating to what he discussed with her on April 9th at work that day.
I actually don't think he ever will.
After failing her nursing exam, she was already feeling down on herself. But the cruel text she received from her brother had only worsened these emotions.
God!
When Heather saw the message from Josh around 3:44 a.m., Daniel was supposedly the shoulder that she would cry on. He states that nothing more happened, but as police would soon learn, this couldn't be further from the truth. Following the intense confrontation, they informed Daniel that there is a warrant for his trailer in addition to his DNA. From here on out, Daniel would be unable to hide the monstrous lie that was masked behind his seemingly normal facade. However, what you're about to see is more shocking than you could ever imagine. Taking a closer look, authorities were stunned to learn that Daniel had apparently mourned the loss of Heather. He attended her funeral and signed the registry book thereafter to pay his respects, even going out of his way to donate $125 to the GoFundMe account of Heather's family.
Dude, he could have spent that on
writing
DraftKings.
a now disturbing message.
God, dude.
Heather, you were such an amazing person. Although we've only known one another for a short time, I've come to appreciate our talks about our kids. I'm distraught that there will be no more of your smile at work. You will always be in my thoughts. Your daughter will always be in my prayers. God bless you, little Missy. Danny and Ethan Myers. Apparently, he had also posted to Facebook that he was unable to eat or sleep due to the frightening situation. Daniel likely enjoyed inserting himself into Heather's world this way. He may have felt a secret thrill at the funeral, playing the part of a grieving co-worker, all while relishing in the fact that he was the only one who knew the truth about what happened to her. In addition, he may have believed that staying close to the situation would make him appear less suspicious.
Yeah, that ain't how it
But
works.
as the investigation continued, it was quite clear to police that things weren't adding up. Just 5 days after Heather was found, Daniel had purchased new plywood flooring for his home, and at the end of the month, a new mattress. Along with this, over a year later, he made a trip to the local dentist to repair a set of cracked and broken teeth. But the reason for the dental visit would be anything but typical. Several other purchases were also discovered, such as materials to repair a deck, lawn chemicals, light bulbs, galvanized nails, and paint.
Why is that suspicious?
But this could all be explained away, even though a new revelation was far more difficult to rationalize.
Did
A
they find
warrant
the
had
body? You're gonna
finally
catch
been
me.
obtained to perform a DNA test on Daniel.
You're gonna have to catch me up on
And
this.
it concluded that the sample from underneath
Robert.
Um,
What's happening here?
Something else.
I'm just trying to figure out the title of why it's called "When the Suspect is Smarter Than the Detective."
Yeah, that's the only thing that doesn't make any fucking sense. 'Cause
Yeah, the only thing I heard was that them talking to that guy about
Basically, a girl
getting
gets
the
murdered,
DNA.
and what was it? It was pretty bad, wasn't it? What happened to her? Oh yeah, she got like. Sorry, what they say? This is bad. Oh, they like cut her hair off and stuff, and like her fingernails.
Yeah,
were,
a
like,
bunch of weird shit.
And eventually, originally there was like 3 suspects, but then I think they got dismissed, and because the cop was like set on this girl being the suspect, but he ended up getting fired because he was stalking her or something.
What the?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then
Like
basically
inside
this guy
job
they
kinda
talked
thing?
to because he worked with her and like had connections, and this guy claims that he doesn't really know anything about her, yet he was at her funeral and all this stuff. That's pretty much it for now.
Beneath Heather's fingernails
Donated
was a
$130
complete
for a
match
GoFundMe
to
for a
that of her
funeral.
co-worker.
Yeah. The normal stuff.
Over 2 years later, the truth of the devastating matter would finally be revealed.
What is it? What happened?
When police officially searched Daniel's trailer, the findings were unsettling, to say the
God.
least. Upon entering the residence, investigators found various adult toys, surveillance equipment, a Dell laptop,
Dude.
disposable cameras,
Not a Dell
handcuffs,
laptop.
jewelry,
This
a
looks like
pair
my
of women's
apartment.
underwear, and a Samsung Galaxy cell phone. Furthermore, they located several red and brown
That's the most
stains
suspicious
on
thing
the
of them
bottom
all.
of Daniel's carpet.
That's what I'm saying.
The
A sample
Samsung
taken from the
phone.
rug would later come back positive for blood. Not only that, but Daniel had been keeping videotapes documenting his encounters with women and had bizarrely Googled nursing textbooks online. In addition, GPS locations from Daniel's truck uncovered that he had frequently driven by Heather's house between the months of March and April of 2015, and had even made his way to the Somerton apartments on one occasion. But once the horrific event took place, his travels around the
You got a root canal? Oh shoot, that's gonna totally not hurt. You're good. I was ending stream anyway after this. And I think we've been clickbaited on this one. I'm not
these
gonna lie.
specific locations came to a
Thanks for watching the stream, though,
sudden halt.
Jack. We'll see you. We'll see
This
you later.
could suggest
I'll be
that
live
Daniel
tomorrow.
was obsessed with Heather and
Probably
stalking
same
her,
time, like 9.
but at some point his behavior
Good luck with the root canal.
escalated. It's possible that if Heather discovered that he was following her and she confronted him, he may have lashed out.
He's got a creepy
Alternatively, he may have
Nah, that's
expressed
about-
interest
that's
in
pretty
her,
normal.
and she rejected him, which made him angry. On top of this, there was also alleged evidence that Daniel may even be connected to more than one crime. On June 1st, 2017.
Dude, am I tripping? I feel like you should be able to convict people on how they look. Right? There's no way this is a good guy.
Sometimes I agree. I ain't gonna lie.
Steven, you know how you take photos. That's
I don't care. Some point.
Some of your photos.
Just look at this guy.
The investigators asked the
Be
other
arrested in
officer
some
to
of the
remove
photos,
the
Steven.
handcuffs
Just look at
from
him.
Daniel and instead
Take him away,
handcuffs
boys.
him to a hard point in the interrogation room. It seems as though the officers aren't comfortable at this point to completely uncuff him.
You were told you were under arrest, correct? Okay. No Miranda rights at all. Okay. So nobody's spoken to you yet. That's what we're going to do this right now.
Mirandize him.
You are under arrest. And I heard the deputy tell you that when we were out there. No, he's not. Okay. And he said that, but didn't tell you anything else. Right. Okay. We're here to tell you this is in connection with the Heather Bola hunt. Okay.
The officer reads Daniel his Miranda rights, and he quickly requests an attorney, although he still answers one question.
What is your past for your cell phone? I had about a week. Can we write it down? Yes.
Why can't you tell him?
Passcodes to cellular phones are protected under the Fifth Amendment in some jurisdictions, and the contents of a phone are generally protected under the Fourth Amendment. In all likelihood, Daniel just waived some very important Fourth and Fifth Amendment protections by voluntarily giving up his passcode and consenting to a search of his device.
What an L criminal.
You should never give up a phone, its passcode, or
Who
its contents without
outsmarts them? That's what I'm saying.
Even then, good counsel will
What are
attempt
this
to have
bunch of
this
fucking
warrant
dumbasses?
overturned,
It was Kiana,
or
bro.
the admission of evidence obtained via the warrant
Princess
excluded
Kiana.
from evidence. By surrendering these rights, officers
And-
no
and
longer
Kyrie
need to
Irving.
develop probable cause to obtain a warrant in the first place. This essentially allows them to go on what attorneys call a fishing expedition, where they might find evidence of a crime, but may also find additional evidence linking a suspect to other previously unknown or undiscovered crimes. Waiving these rights places the suspect in greater jeopardy from this perspective. Assuming the case goes to trial, the suspect has harmed their case by freely offering additional and possibly incriminating evidence to the prosecution.
You get your attorney, you get situated in, you let me know. We'll sit down with you and your attorney. I think you got a story to tell.
And it was quite the story.
Look at him.
Following
Come
his
on.
arrest,
Crazy,
10
bro.
other
He's
women
guilty.
had come forward, claiming that they had been assault victims of none other than Daniel himself.
Oh my gosh.
And while incarcerated, the suspect had attempted to regain contact with many of his alleged victims by writing handwritten letters. Although in a conversation from jail, he learns that this may not be a possibility with at least one woman.
All right, did you get a chance to go see what the address was? He said she does not want anything to do with you. Oh, well, how does that then? Talked to her about 3 weeks ago. Huh? Well, why didn't you mention something to me? Because I didn't want to hurt your feelings. Well, it don't hurt my feelings. I just wanted to send her a card. She said, don't, because if you do, she'll get you for harassment. I mean, a lot of these women that you want to, you're trying to contact, they're scared of you. All right. You know, I don't know, Danny. I don't know what you want us to do. All right, well, enough said.
In one of the letters, Daniel wrote, "So many emotions in one. Not sure why I'm writing now. First off, I guess you really didn't know me after all. I was never violent with you. You enjoyed my forcefulness, you told me many times, almost instructed me on what to do. You always told me you liked to be held down. Maybe your memory wasn't as good as mine." As the note continued, Daniel insisted that the unknown person was in favor of his disturbing actions. Although it hasn't been documented if Daniel was ever diagnosed, people with antisocial personality disorder often engage in this sort of emotional manipulation of their victims. They will attempt to persuade the victim into believing that they were at fault for the abusive actions. They're highly skilled at making victims doubt their own sanity along with their own memory of events, as Daniel is doing here with this letter. This is called gaslighting. In this case, he doesn't want anyone testifying against him.
Pretty good at gaslighting.
And he can't try to scare them into submission from his cell. So he needs to use his words to manipulate them into thinking they are wrong about what happened. And as we hear from one of Daniel's supposed acquaintances, Danny Fry, the horrifying nature of the suspected killer was confirmed even further.
Okay.
Well, the whole time I've known him, he's been a womanizer, you know.
it's his way or, no way. And I know at one time, and this was, sure, God, it had been at least 20 years ago, that I believe a girl had to put a restraining order on him because he was stalking her.
Danny's descriptions of the accused murderer is an excellent depiction of a person with antisocial personality disorder. These individuals will often put their needs first and have little to no concern for the needs and feelings of others. This is how people like Daniel are able to commit such horrific crimes. In fact, people with severe antisocial personality sometimes derive pleasure from seeing the pain of their victim, physical or emotional. Many of these individuals are considered sadistic for this reason.
He was dating her, and she broke up with him, and he couldn't let it go.
This is because individuals with antisocial personality disorder don't consider the feelings or desires of the other person. They function in pursuit of what they want, and only what they want. Additionally, these individuals often have an inflated sense of self. Many of them think so highly of themselves that it is to the point of delusion. This can often cause them to become very vindictive and even aggressive if a love interest or romantic partner rejects them.
He was married to a girl.
This might be the most clickbaited
Kimberly
video I've ever
one
seen in my
time,
life.
And I guess she didn't tell me until here a while back that he used to be abusive to her, too. And then he was also married to a Bobby girl at one time, and she said that he was abusive.
Daniel and Bobby had a daughter together named Tabitha. On March 28, 2018, she sat down with detectives to give chilling details on the horrors that she encountered as a child, all thanks to her father. Supposedly, when she would visit Daniel every other week, seeing as he and Bobby were no longer together, Daniel would always have a new woman at the house while acting out his violent fantasies. To no surprise, the women were allegedly under Daniel's rule, whereas he would punish them if he didn't approve of their behavior. He would reportedly grab the woman by her clothes or hair and take them to his bedroom. Once the door closed, Tabitha could supposedly hear the blood-curdling screams coming from inside of the torture chamber. It was something that she would never forget.
Yikes.
When he dated, he was dominant. They done what he told them to.
No first-hand knowledge or witnessing anything like that.
No, I've never seen him physically hit a woman or nothing, just what they've told me and, things like that.
Okay. And then
I don't know if my sister told you, but she had told me, I think it was beginning of the summer or whatever, that he tried to handcuff her to a chair.
What?
He paid her to come clean his trailer, and he tried to handcuff her to a chair.
Wow.
She did have bruises on her, her wrist and stuff.
He also claims that Daniel would use derogatory terms when referring to his girlfriends, basically to the point of dehumanization. This suggests that Daniel may have had a paraphilia-related mental disorder known as sadism, where an individual gains satisfaction when causing pain or fear in their partner. On top of this, psychopathy and sadism are linked, although the cause of this is unknown. But as we creep a little further down this twisted path, we learn that Daniel's crimes were darker.
I just want to know how he's smart.
Heather wasn't his only victim.
Did you know Leanne Sluter?
No, I did not.
Okay.
Yeah, there was about 5 or 6 years there that me and him didn't talk because my house got broken into, and some people told me that it was him because they seen him walking from behind my house that night.
Leanne Sluter, a girlfriend of Daniel's from years earlier and the mother of his child, Ethan Meyer,
Who's the fucking
had tragically
genius?
taken her own life back in 2009. Or at least, that's what authorities concluded based on her sudden death. But others believe that to be an utter and complete lie, especially Leanne's sister, Lori Ann Haley. In 2009, Daniel had apparently walked into Leanne's home, finding her lifeless body resting on the bed, with a single .22 caliber rifle gunshot wound to her chest.
I brought my son home to his mom because we had the weekend deal, and I was here like an hour ago, and she answered the door. I'm like, well, maybe she's in the shower. So I went back home. Well, I had a key to get her home, and I came in, and she
Self-report.
I need someone to come out here ASAP.
When someone starts
ASAP.
telling an elaborate story during a
Wait, they thought
911
she killed
call,
herself?
this is
I
a
guess
major
so.
red flag for
With
deception.
a bullet to the
Most
chest?
people who
Yeah,
find
that's
a
kinda-
dead body would request help right
kinda
away
crazy.
and then answer pertinent questions that the operator may have, rather than delivering a monologue about how they came to find the scene. It
I guess he
already
really did
sounds like he's
outsmart the cops.
potentially building up an alibi. But the barrel of the firearm had been exceedingly long,
Did he, though?
and the trigger would have potentially been too far to pull.
Did he, though?
Facing towards
She
Leanne.
pulled the trigger with
Not
a
only
foot?
that, but the gun was
Yeah, like,
resting quite neatly beside her,
Yeah,
almost
did
as if
he?
someone else had
Yeah,
placed it there after committing
He's
the
just smart.
ultimate crime. However,
Yeah.
there was also
We'll
a
go with that.
note supposedly written by Leanne that Daniel had kept hidden away. Part of it reads, "I have
Just
loved you
smart.
unconditionally without waiver, and all you ever did was use me as a bank, kick me to the side when the next best thing came along.
Damn.
All I ever wanted was to just die so that the hurt would stop." The note had supposedly been written in Leanne's handwriting, as reported by authorities. But even if the note did come from
Yikes.
Leanne, there's no way to know that she did so of her own volition. Given Daniel's behavior toward other women, it's likely that he treated her in a similar manner. Authorities have maintained their original ruling to this very day, but many have suggested that a certain someone was actually behind her death all along. In addition, Daniel's brother, Stephen Myers, had written an alarming message on Facebook, indirectly admitting his siblings' guilt. "I just wanted to say how truly sorry I am. I can't explain why my brother did this awful thing, but please don't look down on my family or myself. But we are all proven innocent until guilty. Not saying he is and not saying he's not. Only one person knows who did this horrifying crime." Despite previously not admitting what had happened to Heather, during his time in jail, Daniel had been spewing an inordinate amount of suspicious comments. This included a time where he'd been watching a TV show starring a female judge, and supposedly claimed that he wanted to hurt the woman and rip her hair out, just as he did to someone else. With this, he apparently confessed to an inmate that Heather had traveled to his house after their shift on April 9th, 2015, where Daniel comforted her
Yikes.
regarding the text sent by her brother, but then tried to initiate a romantic gesture towards her. In return, Heather began to laugh, sending Daniel into a rage. In an instant, Daniel supposedly overpowered Heather, trying to force her to submission. However, the young
men
woman
are
was
so
much
scary,
stronger
bro.
than Daniel had imagined, and she was able to fight back, and even managed to knock a tooth from his mouth. He would later superglue the tooth back into place, according to his
Yeah.
daily records. But sadly, Daniel was able to subdue his victim, handcuffing her
That's actually
wrists and
sad.
tying her feet, all while beating her without any remorse. Eventually, he would end the young woman's life with 2 gunshots to the back, place her body in the trunk of her car, and drop the vehicle off at the Somerton apartments. The truth had once and for all been uncovered, but the brutality of the murder forever remains one of the most shocking events in that
For
small
real?
Ohio town. Yet this case doesn't end here. On February 1st, 2019, within days of starting his trial, Daniel was found face down in his cell, prompting a medical emergency.
You doing all right, Dan?
He's about to get out of fucking jail. He's about to out. No way.
Hey, Dan, can you hear me?
No, they wouldn't have made a video if he got
What's
out.
going
Someone
on?
would have killed him.
You got any pain anywhere? Just sit right there. Squad's gonna come look at you.
As the result of an unsuccessful attempt to take his own life, Daniel was transported to the nearest emergency room. Yet he was unable to escape the inevitable consequences of his evil crimes. Former Detective O'Connell, who almost put 3 innocent people away for life, was sentenced to 2 years in prison in September of 2018, but was eventually released in July of 2020, 2 months early. Along with this, the former sheriff who also investigated Heather's case is currently out of prison and works as a drug rehab counselor, helping others to not make the same mistakes he made. In 2019, Heather's friends and family would finally receive the long-awaited justice. During his trial, Daniel apparently ignored everything, doodling or writing the entire time, except the recap of the crime, which he listened to intently. Still, Daniel pled guilty to aggravated murder along with several other charges, ultimately avoiding the death penalty. He will spend the rest of his life in prison and will never have the chance to receive parole.
So how did he outsmart?
Couldn't tell you.
I missed that part.
I don't know.
We did too, bro.
I just watched the whole thing. What do the comments say?
Imagine the comments were like, "Oh my god, he really got the cops." I'm just confused on who the fuck outsmarted too. I'm gonna be honest.
Oh, this is actually sad. People like know her. She was the first girl I ever had a crush on. Yikes. The fact that Whirlpool employees emailed to Detective Connell, I missed that part. Did you see that? Oh no, I think I saw that. No, I remember that. Yeah. Gave the murder and he didn't consider it. I don't think they. This may. I guess. I guess he might have been smarter than the detective.
But still, they were both fucking stupid.
The detective was so dumb that they made.
Yeah, they were both just fucking
just a
stupid. It was just a
clickbait
battle
title.
of who was more dumb.
It should be when the detective is dumber than the suspect.
That's what it should be. Like, the detective was an absolute moron. Well, I gotta have a nice one for tomorrow. Tomorrow I might not go crime dog tomorrow though. Today was kind of an L for the crime dogs, honestly.
All right, Steven, what do you think? D-Beck pull this off?
Yeah, probably. Dude, what a legendary background. All right, I'm gonna end stream real quick and I'll stick around the Discord for a while. All right, fellas. If anybody's still here in the stream, I'm gonna get some sleep, and I'll be live tomorrow after work at 9 o'clock. So if anybody's still here, appreciate you watching. Have a good night, fellas. I'll see you later.